Good evening, cruise mates. It's your wonderful windmates, your cruise ship captain, Chartreuse Proxy, ever at your service. Hopefully, I got things to finally be working now. I was just setting up my music for today, but we're starting to finally live now. Hopefully, the game category is showing this time. I just had to set up OBS. I say set up, I had to just, reinstate OBS, just turn it off, turn it back on. But we should all be good now. As always, today is episode 23 of Podcast by Proxy, where if no one else will talk about it, I will. I'm your host as always, just chilling by yourself tonight, Chartreuse Proxy, as I've already said. And first and foremost, let me greet everybody here. Fat, always nice seeing you around. Z, there you are, and Frangory, of course, who's actively chatting. Though if you are just kind of listening on in the background, well, I'm happy to have you here as well. Don't tell me that Apex is gonna let me play, because if it isn't, this is gonna be painful. I was thinking to myself, okay, I can put in some of the grind tonight while I talk about school and such coming up. I guess it doesn't want me to. Do you need an Apex partner? I was gonna solo queue on Ranked Up tonight was the plan. But first and foremost, topics come first, and it seems that EA is kind of being stupid, so I'm gonna have to soft boot this again. But first and foremost, we are here to talk about Podcast by Proxy, aren't we all? Don't mind if my model freezes up, I'm just letting the game kind of, die for 2 seconds before I try to reboot it. But our topics, as on my tweet today, are gonna be looking at my upcoming semester. So it's going to be all about, of course, what my class is. What am I looking at for walking wise? How am I going to look at life back at home and not at the dorm and whatever? I'm going to be looking at what I actually got out of school, as in, no, not just the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, of course. But actually looking back at it, it's hey, what things have I actually been able to, use going forward? So thinking about, oh, hey, look. Am I gonna use this in whatever career path I'm actually going towards and whatever? Or is this something a lesson that actually has proven to be useful and truthful? And then finally I'm gonna talk about shenanigans, drama, and just, the stupid things that only happen when you're in school and whatever, So, as much as I am going to loathe this upcoming semester for not only taking away my free time from streaming, having a life, and getting to work on other things like commissions and such, it's just gonna be something that we gotta get through, yeah? So, let's make the most of it, everybody. First and foremost, I've already just on about it a lot from previous days, streams, and everything in between, but when it comes to looking by my current school semester, I have 5 classes for 15 credit hours right now. 4 of them are business-centric. One of them is just my language, which is my Japanese conversation. And at the very least, I don't have any anticipation for what to expect in most of their classes besides just the class names like business financial management or Japanese conversation, such like that and whatever, The only thing that I really have that I'm looking for right now is just kind of okay, Japanese class, I'm going to struggle in unless I put the pedal to the metal in my studying and my grinding for keeping up. Because I have slacked off on that very much so when it comes to, when it comes to actually keeping up my chops. Because throughout the summer, last time I honestly studied Japanese was June 22nd. And I am just not able to play Apex today, am I? Question marks? Are things connected just fine for you guys over here? On stream side, you guys not having any audio problems, any video problems, things are fine, hopefully? For stream, yes, there's no problems. Okay, well, this sucks. I guess I'm just gonna have to pivot from one game to another then. I'll see what I want to play then. But anyway, yeah, so I'll just lay things flat when it comes to, my school right now. I am a senior in university right now. I'm going to be graduating forwards to be an international business major. And I'd previously planned on interning in Japan and such, but then that kind of came to a fault when COVID hit. It kind of killed everything that I had planned for school. You know, it just kind of ruined all my current plans. I'm gonna try this matchmaking one more time, and if not, then I'll switch to another game for today. But yeah, because of just how things panned out, I didn't get to go on any internships, I didn't get to go study abroad for my senior year, and things just kind of fell apart from there. I'm still gonna be graduating on track, thank goodness, because although I had to go down to like 4 or 3 classes for like my junior year, because I am terrible at online classes and I wouldn't be able to manage anything else in between. The fact is that I got through it, and thanks to like me having like my AP credits and whatever, I was able to, you know, at the very least make it through particularly unscathed. Just about. I was able to still get through all my classes. I didn't fail any of them. I still haven't yet, which I'm honestly still surprised. I kept my scholarships for like honors programs and whatever, and through all of that, I am just kind of living and chilling. Now, going into the senior year, I am looking to graduate in the 4 years tops time, as you could say is the normal. And especially so when we look to what I have planned up. Once again, I have 4 business classes and 1 language class. The way that our semester is going to go, but it's seeming to return to like normal scheduled semester. We're not having any more of the bull crap that I've had to deal with when it came to what's his face? When it came to the different things that came along, such as starting 2 weeks early, ending 2 weeks later. But that's a story I'll tell in a little bit of time. For now, I'll focus up on my situation at the moment. But first and foremost, let's try Knockout City, see if I can't grind on there real quick. But yes, so 5 classes. Because of, I'm guessing, COVID procedures and just different things and going on like that, they're all happening in the same building, at least. So, in between my classes, I actually don't have to walk. Except for maybe, like, a floor or 2 in the same building, up and down. So, because of that, I'm going to actually have my work cut out for me with, hey, I'm not going to be late for class unless I just, like, take a nap in between and I just completely freaking miss it. So it's going to be a little bit easier on that end with being able to just, yeah. As long as I get to, like, my first class on time and everything in between, that will be doing a lot better. But I've really talked about how one of my classes is going to be an 8 o'clock. So, that's a real Knockout City? You okay? You just hard crashed on me when I was trying to set up your window in the background. Alright. Well, I see how you're playing. I guess I'll just not play games and I'll just talk tonight then. But anyway. Getting back to what I was trying to say here. In all of the times that I had before, I had, like, when I say all the times I had before, like, all my different semesters, I had never had any class overlap in the same building, except for, like, once over. So because of that, I honestly am pretty happy that I'm getting to have everything in the same building for one of my last 2 semesters and such, you know? It's a real treat to just be able to just stay in the same building, not have to move anywhere, and yeah, we just chill. I'm still gonna have to walk around campus and such if I'm going to, if I'm going to be, like, dining anywhere, and I don't even remember where we are dining. Double team elimination? Yeah, no thank you. Give me a warm-up game, and then I'll go into grinding up again. Oh. Don't need that. Ooh. Those are nice. Oh, Nope, wrong button. I'm trying to press enter to view. Let me check these out real quick. These glasses are pretty cool, honestly. Debating if I want to buy them before I go on. But getting back to what I was trying to say, yeah. Because everything is in the same building, I get to, yeah, very much so just kind of chill out, relax, and not have to worry about moving around too much. And considering that at least at most of my classes I have like 20-30 minute breaks in between, that's a lot of time to just like, you know, just like, okay, exit the classroom, find a table, sit down, and just like study up for my next class if I have a test, or catch up, or maybe do some homework if it gets to that dubious territory and everything in between, you know? The fact that I have at least that luxury amidst everything going on, I'm pretty happy about.
You smell that? That's
In the chi of that tone as well, I luckily don't have any online classes this semester. And I say luckily for my case because I suck at online classes. If my attention span is waning, it's gonna start waning, and then, you know, it's always going to be a what's-his-face effect. It's always gonna be a snowball effect. You start falling behind in class, you're like, I don't know if I can keep up. It's either you put yourself to the metal, and it's like, okay, you caught up for this day. What about the next day over? And then it gets to a bigger problem then going onwards of just... It gets to a bigger problem then of... You then get to the bigger... you then get to that to the picturesque end of saying... Well, what if I just don't catch up? I'll slack off, get on my phone and whatever. And then before you know it, all just starts going way downhill from there. Because you are falling behind in all of your classes. Everything's just not going well at all. And then it's really just starts... it's the opposite of the stunt boat fallacy of just... Instead of saying, I might as well go down the ship, you just say, you're so far behind, you might as well just not try at all, you know? It's when you get to that dubious territory that it just starts to just really suck the life out of you, you know? Because I'd want to be a good student and keep trying things, but I'm just like, behind! It's not worth it anymore! If I spend all my time catching up, I'm gonna catch up on like 2 class worth, and that's it! That's all that I get! When I'm ready for 6 classes! Ish. ADHD perfectionist, hey, you gotta give your best efforts and whatever, you know? And if you're not, well, what do you have to say about yourself then? Yeah, nice try, dude. Thank you. I didn't click it, but that's just like the burn that I felt when I did my online classes of like, keep in mind, this is like when online classes first started or so, I was trying to be a good student, but remember, I am, one, an anime girl, and also I am a gacha game player. I was still playing Art Knights pretty prolifically, along with Girls Frontline at that time, and then also what came out? Genshin Impact. Genshin really just threw everything off the table of just, I'm exploring Leeway! This is so cool! Wait, you want me to say the Japanese word for garage? Oh, fuck if I know. You know? It's a snowball effect of just kind of like, oh shoot, what am I supposed to do here now? And then before you knew it, I was so far behind that it just was like a moot point of me catching up, I felt. And I was just kind of like, okay, I hate to do this, but I'm either gonna have to make a few flashcards, which I did, or resort to like Google Translate, even though I know for a fact it's not reliable. At the very least, I can try to BS my way through a few classes, which I did. And it sounds horrible to say, and I really do feel horrible about it, because with me going into the 5th Japanese class in line, I've done, like, beginner, 1 and 2, intermediate 1 and 2, and now this is conversation, which is getting to the nitty-gritty, you know, which is my, like, a 3rd year class, because I only started Japanese in my sophomore year. It's like, jeez, dude, I'm so screwed. Okay, I say I'm so screwed. I'm not as screwed as I think I am, because at least I still have, like, a good foundation. I know, like, my hiragana, my katakana, and whatever. But the fact is at the same time, I am, like, so far behind on kanji. And granted, it's kanji. Everybody always says, like, hey, you can kind of, like, hand-wave kanji a little bit. At the same time, it's just, like, I don't want to necessarily just hand-wave kanji. I actually want to try to, you know, get good at it!
Blue team takes the lead.
There we go. Get it. Too early. There you go. But, yeah, it's just that constant burn of always wanting to keep going. And yeah, I guess that's kind of what studying is supposed to be, but at the same time, it's like, for me, you know, on online classes, I got distracted a lot. Very easily so. Because it's like, if I'm listening to, like, my economics teachers or so, and it's not to rub on them, although, like, some of them were really bad. Others, not as bad. Or, dare I say, good. I'm kidding. Teachers, you know, like, some of my teachers have been good, some of them haven't. But, you know, case-by-case basis, give them that much at least or so. For the ones that just, like, didn't make learning, you know, like, engaging, but it was kind of like, I'm listening to a lecture, and that's all I'm really getting out of this. It was just kind of like, I could just be on my phone playing Genshin Impact right now. And, that is what I did. For a good portion of it, altogether. It really killed my grades. I say really killed, I'm going from, like, maybe, like, what would have been, like, an easy, like, A or so into maybe, like, a low B, high C. And it doesn't seem, like, bad in the sense of things, like, you know, I'd C's just degrees and all. At the same time, it's like, hey, I'm kind of killing the leverage that I have right now. In case things do start to go bad, you know, like, hey, dude, I'm kind of killing my chances to, like, to actually make a solid enough comeback with my grades. Because especially, like, when it comes to, like, my honors class or whatever. So, honors designation and such, when it comes to my university. So, it got me scholarships, which gets me, you know, like, money in the bank for the future. I'm saving money for my college career, yeah? The problem with it is, for that honors designation, is you need to have a B+ or higher in the class to get credit for it. Granted, I've been able to maintain it well enough, but especially so, like, fact is, like, my honors class, I'm gonna put way more effort into it, of course, and make sure that, like, hey, I'm not going to just, like, hit the wall, fall down flat and everything with it, but also, it's kind of like, I don't get that extra leeway room of just saying, I'll just play games in my phone today or so, and especially going back into the classroom, it's gonna help my environment more, because I want to be a good student. But my motivation can be very fleeting, and then also my attention span is like next to none. When I do masters, you know, I'm really not feeling the masters bucket. It's like, I guess you'd say it's kind of like the general consensus for like most college kids. You want to get out of school, get on with your life, but I also don't know what exactly I do want to do with my life after college, because I don't have, like, any job lined up, because internship opportunities and whatever, you know, kind of died in the water for me. And for something like business, unless I make, like, a really good connection in, like, the next year or so, that isn't just VTubing, because who am I kidding? I'm not gonna blow up in a year here, so I'm not gonna look to be full-time streamer anytime soon. And that's not me just, like, kicking myself in the dirt. I'm just being realistically, not optimistic, but just, I'm being very much so a realist, looking at the situation here, of just, hey, look, dude, streaming, I love it, but look at my numbers. And that's not just, like, bring up, like, oh, small-time streamer. I'm just saying, dude, I'm streaming for, like, 5 people at most or so. Not to say anything necessarily bad, it's just like, hey, look, I'm small, but I know my place about it. And they do it right, though. Yeah, look, we're small streamers, but fact is, I know that this is a hobby, and I'm keeping it that way. I want to pour all my time into it as much as I can, but it's just the way that it goes. School will get me a job which can at least pay the bills more, to the point where I can make this hobby a little bit more viable. But it's just gonna take time and effort, of course. That's all we can say. Z. What are you saying, Z? Excuse me. Anyway. Hope you're doing well. We're just going on about yeah. I'm just looking at school from the very realistic lens of, oh boy, I'm gonna have to get an actual adult job that isn't just part-time. Way more in the future and whatever. Yeah? We'll just see how that goes on. Going with things and everything in between. But the fact of the matter is, yeah. Adult job, adult life, and everything in between. We'll just have to work on it. It's that work in progress for a reason now, yeah? Because that's simply what life is going to be. Yeah. I've been happy with, like, my part-time job and such so far. At the same time, you know, full-time in the area that I want to be in, which is business enough, because I have actually enjoyed the track and everything in between, and I'm in the pit! I'm not in the pit. It hasn't been too bad, quite frankly. Have fun with that soda, dude. Alright, teammates are winning this pretty well. Plus, you can always ask the Ancient Ones here for tips, if you need. Yeah, since you are the oldest Gale Force member. Freaking nerd. Alright, I'm sorry. Z, the next Gale Force member and the worst kept secret in all VTubing. Alright, but getting back onto that, it's like, yeah. I want to try to look back at, like, internships or other opportunities and such again, but at the same time, the fact of the matter is that I did lose a lot of legwork time, because COVID... Ah, shoot, I thought I wouldn't go off the map. Well, that's a throw for me, I've done nothing this match. COVID did kill a lot of those opportunities, study abroad, internship-wise, and everything in between, so... You know, I gotta hit the ground running, and I gotta see what I can do. We'll see how it goes onwards, though. It's a nice hit, dude. I'll admit. Oh, that was a try at a flick. Done it. Not enough. But, yeah. We're just gonna see how things go on with it. And we'll see if I want to also stay in, like, my town or so. It's not that I don't have anything against where I live, but also I'm just kind of like, hey, like, just like looking at things like, what opportunities are there for, like, business and such with me here and such, you know? Because looking at things from that, that realistic angle especially, so, yeah. It's just that real big question of, hey, what am I looking to do here? Am I going to be able to grow where I am? Or do I need to move? Or, like, would it be a good choice to move? Primarily so, is what I'm trying to get at, and trying to get over here. Like, would it be a good, viable choice? Or is it not? Doesn't get any simpler than that. And do I know the answer at all? Oh, heck no. Like, we're going to work on it, and we're gonna find it out in time, yeah? There we go. Good stuff. 10-9, twice around than I wanted, even though I did nothing for the beginning there, but that wasn't too bad. But, like, I'll be right about it. If shit does hit the fan, and I say that very tepidly so, because... because at least I'm trying to think of things, like, positively enough. I have a good enough support structure for myself. I have myself a pretty good amount in my savings and such, to where I don't think things will be the biggest problem in the world. I have, you know, I have enough of a nest egg that I can fall back upon, but it's not gonna be like, I can sustain myself and life incarnate for the next odd number of years on it. We'll just have to see how it goes, you know? Anyway, that's real nice, considering that we had no balls in the stadium right there. Because, yeah, once again, if anything does just start to go wrong, I do have my support angles. It just comes down to what I can do with the time that I have right now, and seeing, you know, like, make the most of my opportunities. So I'm a college student, yes, but I'm also gonna be a streamer and full-time job looker applicant. I'm looking for employment. I don't know how else to put that. So, if I can find, you know, like, hey, this opportunity lines up with me pretty well, then hey, this opportunity lines up with me pretty well then, yeah? But if things don't come to it, then things don't come to it. As simple as that, you know? And we'll just have to keep our eyes open, keep our mouths shut if things come to. That was a nice hit on that guy. And just see what we can do. Until then, though, it's all just about, you know, surviving the semester onwards and such. We'll just have to see what can happen with the career that with the career opportunities that I have, and just to work off of it, and everything in between, you know? That's a freaking soda ball. Yeah, can't dodge everything, nerd. Come here. I did 180 right there, which was completely unnecessary, because if the guy hit me, that was death then. Get it? No. Alright. No point in planning far too ahead in these times? Yeah, very much so. But it's like, I still gotta think about it, because it's like, I'll use this example of like when I was planning around with like my college major and everything in between. It was what's its face? Like when I was looking at high school, and you know the question came up always like, what are you gonna study or so? I didn't want to think about it too much until my senior year came around, in which case it became a real big fault of just, oh shoot, I have to choose, or I have to at least have something planned going forwards, and it was just kind of like, eh? Oh, and then I panicked all my senior year about it. Granted, yeah, like I'll give it that like the term gap year exists, along with like a few other things in that sort of just saying, like, hey, you took the year off to find yourself, or like after college, like you took a year off of your life to find yourself and find out what you wanted out of your career and everything in between, or you took a year in between, or you like took a year off during your college to find out what real you want to do with your life and such. I get that that can happen, and granted, like, even like my dad did it too, but it's like, I don't like to just sit around about doing nothing, if that makes any sense, or like, not having a plan set forwards. And as for somebody like me, who starts to feel a little bit anxious if, you know, if I'm not doing anything or have like something planned up for the future, I'm just kind of like, I'm a waste of space, I'm footing around, I don't know what to do with my life.
Scientists say taking one too many hits to the head is...
So because of that, it's just like,
Hey,
yeah.
plenty of times and I'm
Although I don't have to have something lined up, you know, it's that eternal question. It's like if I see my friends say, hey, do you have a job lined up? Hey, what are you doing with your life? Or if I'm visiting relatives or talking to grandparents and such, you know? Excuse me for my silence as I eat part of my snow cone. But like, you know, it's a lingering question that I'm gonna be having as things go on, and please don't tell me we just have this AFK guy throughout, because this will suck. And on multi-balls too. Okay, he's here now, but this really sucks considering that we are a little behind on the curve already. Shoot. I need to play back. Yeah, dude, hey, Bougie Trey, why weren't you here when the game started? Yeah, you gotta chill 1-2, but we shouldn't be down 2 points to begin with. We can, yeah, alright, it's 3-3. We're down 1 hit, but we can make it work. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying here, when we're talking about this stuff, you know, it's just that eternal question that's always just gonna be burning in your mind and such. So I just gotta be thinking about it for whatever reason, and not for whatever reason I can, but it's kind of like, you know, it's gonna be gnawing in the back of my head constantly. So, of just, hey, I need to, like, I want to be trying to working on something, or constantly like making things better. Give me the ball. Get me out of here. Oh, that is good a bull. I should have caught that. Alright, that's fine. 4-7. Etstro is good. I was away from my teammates. I wanted to get back to them. I also wanted to get the ball. That's fine. Buji Trey guy is actually not too bad, but the fact is that we've been behind with him on every single Ghost Run engagement. Yeah, that's what you get. He's not looking. Alright. Just setting up for 2 seconds here, trying to make sure that I can at least pay attention to what's going on here. Yeah, that just sucks. Hey, Bougie Trey, why can't you be with us so I can game starts? Bougie Tay. Yeah, like, you being AFK really sucks in multi-balls. Granted, I played that game horribly, but it's like, I'm trickling, dude. Trying my best. And if one of you is AFK to begin with, this really sucks in a 3v3 game. And if both of them are AFK to begin with, this really sucks in a 3v3 game. Alright. Let's get this going. But back to... Yeah, there's only so much that you can do, but when it's like, when the game's out of your control, you start to really just feel like, oh my goodness gracious, dude. But yeah. Getting back to topics of school and such, I'm just gonna do what I can when it comes to situations of like, hey, if I'm presented an opportunity, I'm going to try to take it, especially if it pertains to getting like a full-time job, for instance, or so. Because it's not, because I'm not having any problems right now when it comes to like holding on to my part-time, but you know, it's gonna be part-time. I'm just working a retail job that is just gonna be part-time for part-time for being part-time. It's nothing more than, yeah, just that simple position as sales associate and such, you know? If I can find something that does pertain to my major going on, that'll be fantastic. Or if it pertains to something I like esports or so. But we'll get to it when we get to it in time, I guess, yeah? Now, Chaito does ask, hey, do you prefer... Oh, hold on. Give me 2 seconds here. Chaito does pose a question out in chat here that I'll read in just 1 second. As soon as we clean up right here. But he does... But what he does say is, do you prefer classes that are more lecture-based or more hands-on / project-based class setups? If you want my opinion, the best classes, no, this is for me, best classes that fit my style of learning, it would be classes that mix both in. As in, classes that can stay lecture-based, but also, let's just face, respect the grounds when it comes to learning in a environment that is made for... okay. I'm being a little bit complex with what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say is, I like a bit of both. I like the lecture-based classes of just getting to, like, hey, sit down, take my notes, and just relax on that. But I also like the hands-on environment of at least keeping me engaged or so. I'll use, like, a few good examples of some of the better classes that I've had have been, like, my science classes and whatever, such like that or so. To where what they, especially what they do, is that, like, you have, like, a lab or so that actually, like, applies what you've learned and such. Or, like, my psychology classes that I took, even though I hated the teachers. The assignments and whatever were fun, because it was like, okay, you have, like, this online assignment that puts the skill or whatever that you just learned straight into purpose and practice. It isn't just, like, because a full-on lecture is gonna be like my economics classes. I'm just learning about ETS, and then that's it. I'm not applying it besides just regurgitating it for, like, you know, a multiple choice test at the very end or so. And it feels horrible, because it feels like I'm really not putting anything to good use besides just the fact of just, hey, I'm learning the fact that mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, and that's really the most that I'm going to be getting out of this and such, you know? I'm not getting any other application out of this. And that's where it starts to break down for me.
Gold team win.
if it's all project-based or so, then I start to feel a little weighty of like, okay, I need to put a lot of time into this, and especially when it comes to group projects and such, it's like, Granted, I'll give another great example of mine of, I've had 2 oral communication classes, which, if that sounds a little complex, it's not. It's really just speech writing. I had one that is just oral communication, which you need to graduate, and then I've had business communication, which is an oral communication class in the form of, like centered in a business environment and such. Both of them had a real good mix of keeping things separate, of, like, having, like, sections when it came to lectures and such, and then such, like, of, like, okay, we're learning a little bit out of, like, this book that we have today on how it is, like, on how, like, you can be a better speechwriter, active listener, or whatever. Or, like, how to pertain to, like, how to keep audience interest based on how they're reacting to your speech prompts and whatever, such like that or so. And especially, like, when it came to... when it especially came to, I had a better time with, like, I had a real good experience with both of those classes because I got a good mix of, I got to learn, like, you know, content and whatever, in how I needed to, like, have, in, like, how to, like, make these speeches and such. But then I also got the hands-on experience of, okay, now now your assignment is you are going to write a speech and whatever based around this topic, or trying to use, like, these, like these examples of good speech writing and such like that or so. That was, like, that's what I would say was a real good mix of, yeah, of just content, or from, like, lecture and whatever, and then actual, like, practical application. That's where I feel I got the best use out of all of that and everything in between, you know? Is when I got to put what I used straight to the paper, like literally so, you know? Because then I was able to, yeah, put in the, or like, you know, like, listen on, put in the work, and actually, you know, like, yeah, get that full use out of those classes and what I learned in them and everything in between. Yeah, I heard you. Ah, darn it, he still hit me. I was about to say, I saw the guy around the corner, but I didn't react fast enough. Ah. Taking another bite from my snow cone. Because, no, but, not because of my classes, but once again, going back to what I was saying, lecture-based, 2 months on the lecture-based, I started to feel like I'm falling asleep, or I'm not focusing up on everything, and it just started to feel really bad on that end and everything in between, you know? Too much hands-on, I start to feel overwhelmed, and when you have 4 other classes that you're juggling along too, it starts to really deteriorate, and that's not counting if it's like a group project or something in between, you know? Hopefully mixed of both. Like, I'm a very physical learner to where I learn the best by doing. You can tell me all you want about A plus B equals C, but unless you make me write down 3 plus 4 equals 7, 4 plus 3 equals 7, 7 minus 4 equals 3, 7 minus 3 equals 4, or whatever, I'm not gonna get that into the very dense head that I have here. It really comes down to how, like, okay, I learned how to use this word. Like, I've learned what this word is, I need to learn how to use it. And that's where I feel like I'm very lagging behind in classes like Japanese and such. The problem that I'm encountering there with Japanese, or like my other language classes, like, yeah, I could learn the word for garage, or tree, or something. And I'll probably say it's like, that man is next to that tree in Spanish, or French, or Japanese, the 3 languages that I've tried to study in school and such. But unless I find a purpose or reason to use garage over and over again, I'm not gonna remember that besides regurgitating it for, like, my vocab test, you know? falls off in my head, and especially when I was already falling behind in my Japanese classes, granted for a different reason entirely. Yeah, it really didn't sit in my head, and I honestly can't say. Right, I'm not even pulling that one out of my butt. I remember, that's right, we had to learn, like, garage or something for, like, Unit 8 of, like, my Japanese, and I can't remember what it is! I seriously can't remember what the word is. And it sucks. Anyway, I got these two guys in my team this time around, so we'll have to see how it goes. He already took a hit, and our other teammate's AFK. You know, that's a real big problem.
Gold team takes the lead.
Oh, you know, that's reflexes, also to a fault. Yeah, nice try, dude. You're real good at this game, chasing me down. Nope. So we just don't play the angle. But yeah, if I can get that good, healthy mix for myself, then that's the best thing I can ask for. But otherwise, yeah, like I said, it just starts falling downwards for me then. Because, once again, if like, any good mitts that I can get when it comes to my schooling and such, that's all that I can really ask for. Because otherwise, it just doesn't fit my learning style, and like I said, it all just starts falling down the hole then and there. I went the wrong way, just saw the body floating there. I know, like, everybody is different in the way that they learn, but remember, when I'm talking about stuff on the podcast here, I am talking from my perspective, like how I learn and everything in between. And at least, like, for me, it would be learning by doing, very high priority, high in the tier list. Learning from, like, learning just, like, from pure lecture or, like, pure project or whatever, that starts to fall down, like, a good amount in how I'm going to be learning these things and such here. And whatever such, you know? Whereas, if I were to go onwards with, like, that analogous example or so, I can't do online learning for crap. And although I already have said this point many times over, it comes to a bigger fault when when we're talking about how, like, these semesters and such have gone. Because, especially so, with how, like, many classes have been uncertain in these times, like, I'm saying this because some of my friends have had their classes go from online to, from an online class to an in-person lecture or vice versa on their schedules. It's one thing of, like, I want to be a good student, but the learning environment's bad for me, or you know, yeah, it's just not fit for me at all, or it just goes downhill from there, you know? It's finding that form fit between how I can learn and what works the best for me learning wise. I'm dead. Nope. Nice job, idiots. Y'all suck. But yeah, once again, to just bundle up my thoughts into a nice little ribbon, online learning bad. Physically learning by doing and such, good. So anyway, that's my school tier list. I'll be happy to rank another thing in the future. Just kidding, just kidding. Yeah. That's just, like, how it came from me. And especially, like, when it comes, and yeah, the reason why I remember these classes so much, like my psychology, my oral communication, or, like, my business communication, compared to, like, my economics, or, like, second, like, financial accounting too, is because of what I actually got out of it.
Round two.
Like, I'll say this. At first, I was kind of just like, you know, like, very lukewarm, opinion-wise, when it came to the fact of, came to the fact of you need to have a oral communication class to graduate, but then I really started to understand the value of it once, like, especially so once I actually got into the class, because I thought, like, you know, like, being introverted by nature and such, that would be like, okay, I'm gonna be like the worst speaker in the class and whatever, I'm not gonna have a good platform, but already with me working my retail job before I took the class, and then along with, you know, like, I wasn't streaming yet when I took my business communication. I actually was a lot more confident than I realized. And have a good night now, Kaito. I was, like, I thought I was introverted or quiet or couldn't speak worth the darn, but, like, people just, like, couldn't form fit their words. And it surprised me absolutely so with how bad some people were with just, like, even getting to express themselves in any light and such. And I'm not trying to rag on them, I'm just saying, like, this is, like, anime-level case of, like, literally, like, fidgeting at the stand because they can't get themselves out. And once again, I'm not trying to rag on anybody, I'm just saying, like, in comparison, I thought I was gonna be, like, you know, like, not the best of the class, but holy crap, dude. Some people were actually anime levels of jittery. Oh, please don't hit the train, dude. Good. But, yeah. Anyway, like, especially when it came to, and everything in between for that nature, I found myself finding a lot of good use with using it to improve myself in my speaking, for instance, because I'll use my business communication class as a good fault. A lot of the principles lined up already with what I was doing as a saleswoman on the floor. I was, like, you know, making, like, catering it to your audience, for example, was a really big point of saying, like, hey, I remember, like, that was, like, one of the big units of, like, catering to your audience, as in, how do you sell, like, a product or so? And here's, like, this is, like, the, like, you know, textbook form saying the very basic, simple ways of breaking something down, of, like, the interested, the uninterested, the apathetic, and the people who are, like, not satisfied at all with, like, what's going on. And basically, like, hey, how do you want to cater things to somebody? If they're interested... Hold on, let me take a bite of my snow cones first so I can basically rehydrate before I go on this point.
You wouldn't want to miss this one, trust me.
The way that I remember that chart breaking down was, if they're interested, then yeah, continue talking up the positive points, tell them about, like, the benefits, or, like, if there's, like, warranties, or extra things that will go their way if they decide to go through with it and such, you know? Like, with their purchase and whatever. If they were, like, apathetic about it, like, just, or, like, kind of, like, more, like, carbon-leaning neutral, it was, like, okay, honestly, just tell them the straight facts. Of, like, look, you're not gonna get anything from buttering up that, like, that audience space. The best thing that you could do in that situation is to just be 100% honest with them, and, like, try to get them through that there. Because you're not gonna sell them on, like, these talking points of, it'll even print money! And whatever, you know? You're gonna get them on telling them, like, hey, it will, like, it works at 600 watts instead of, like, the normal 400 watts that, like, most air fryer ovens and whatever work at. You're getting yourself a bargain deal out of this. Like, I'm being objective with how I'm speaking or so, and now it's also a very bad play that I just did there. But hopefully hopefully you start to see the idea behind, like, what these principles and such were teaching out to you. Because especially so, when it came to learning in that class, and, like, getting to actually do the speeches and such, it was just kind of like, you know, okay, I'm ready, I could say, I guess, intermediate at these business principles and such, and now I'm learning at a better level, learning how to, yeah, get better at my job, like, literally so and such. And especially when it came to a bigger fault of just being able to even, like, present the speech without stuttering around and such, or so, compared to some people in the class, it was, you know, a really big deal in being able to say this stuff. Or do this stuff. And where are my teammates? I know that they're behind me, but hey, help me out here. There you go. Win the firefight. Good stuff. I can't complain. But yeah, I thought that what would be kind of like, I wouldn't say a harder class, but, you know, like, a different one for me to try to, like, experience and learn and such, wasn't actually all that bad, all things considered. I say, as I am now in a very bad situation. I'd rather not be here. Alright, let's keep things going.
Blue team needs one team wins.
There we go. Calm enough. But, sorry. Going back to that point of, like, being able to actually talk in those. Yeah, like, I knew already that it's like, hey, like, let's face it. If I'm looking at, like, my job position, for instance, or so, looking at, okay, I'm talking up, like, this person who seems really interested in, like, this air fryer, or whatever, so. It's like, yeah, I could probably just keep going on and on about how air fryers are the future of technology and everything in between. And they'll probably buy it. Still halfway so. But especially so when it came to, the fact of the matter is that, alright, if I'm talking to, like, somebody who's just kind of, like, just looking around or so, not particularly interested in what I am trying to sell out, then yeah, I need to just, like, hey, tell them, like, look, if you get this in your kitchen, it's basically a 5-in-1 microwave, is what an air fryer is. Does a lot of things and has, like, a lot of nifty features, but unless you're really going out of your way for it, then it's, like, it's not necessary to have in your kitchen arsenal. It's just nice, you know? And because, like, and yeah, I just learned a lot more, and for me, it was that practical application that I got out of it for my job, especially so. There we go. Pass it over, control the moon balls. Darn it, an air fryer is a consumption level convection oven. I'm, like, I was just putting air fryer out there, one, for the argument of, you know, everybody has an air fryer and the air fryer is coming out of it, and two, like, look, I'm literally putting it on a pedestal for this exact reason and such, dude. You know, that was a real bad play by me. I thought my other teammate was right there, but no, he probably just dived to the winds. Oh well. But, like, you see what I'm saying here, and especially, like, if you're looking at, like, many people, like, base entry-level knowledge, I'm working at, like, a retail store that sells, like, a little bit of everything. And especially so when it came to, it's like, when I said to people, it's like, yeah, it's basically like a big, like, a nice big convection oven for your kitchen. People are like, what does convection mean? And I'm like, are you serious, dude? It's literally nothing okay, well, let me just lay this out flat for you, yeah? But, like, you see what I'm getting at here, with, like, my rhetoric and my thinking and such, right? Hopefully so. Because, yeah, when it came to this bigger fault in thinking and such, it really is just me upselling it. I said, yeah, it's 5-in-1 microwave oven, and people don't even know what, right, people don't even know, wait, you can have a microwave and an oven sometimes? Or, like, once again, that word of, like, convection. Some people don't know what convection is! But, getting back to what I was saying about selling points, the fact is that it got to be, like, I got to use it practically in my job, and I learned a good amount from it. Compared to those math classes and all that jazz, yeah, it's joked about, but yeah, am I gonna find out what the Pythagorean theorem does for me and such? Like, not exactly. I'm just kind of learning this so I can get A or B plus in this class and get out scot-free. I did fundamentals of mathematics as my math class, if that's anything to really tell you by. That's literally just what I took. As simple as that, you know? You want an air fryer someday? It's actually not too bad. Considering that, you know, my family air fries just about everything. And we just use the microwave for reheating, of course. I mean, well, then again, that is the purpose. What am I talking about? But, like, you get what I mean here. Of, like, everything is just first and foremost. If we can air fry it, we're air frying it. It's like, okay, I see where we're getting to on this leg of the race here, you know? Let me just take another stab at my snow cone. It's Tutti Frutti flavored, everybody. Excuse me. But at least like with business chat, even though I just kind of did it because my family had done it, and it just seemed easy enough of just if I struggled in any of my classes, I could get a free bailout. I've actually been taking like a good liking into like, yeah, the sales tactics and whatever and such like that, or just, yeah, straight up learning how to do X or Y or so, or everything in between. Granted, the fact is that like, I'm also having to go through things like my accounting and economics, and okay, economics wasn't too bad. Accounting, I see why. So like why people need accountants and such now, because going through that tedium. Okay, let me go on with this for like 2 seconds here. I remember the accounting final, which was like, here's your checks and balances and sheet. Here's your information. Go. Every single square is worth a single point out of like your grade and everything. And that wasn't just the final exam, but that was every single assignment. And sometimes if I didn't understand what was going on in a lecture and such, I really didn't do well at all. It felt like absolute garbage to see those cells light up red and just be like, I don't know this math. I didn't know I had to take like the checks plus the balances plus like what is labeled as a debt or whatever such. And like, geez, dude. Yeah, I'm just gonna get an accountant to help me out with that stuff because I am not learning anything from there. Alright. I feel like I am very much so deviating a good bit from what I was talking about, but let me just sum things up. Especially so, when it comes to like my college career, I've gotten a good amount of stuff that I've been able to, you know, profit from, like learning-wise and everything in between. I got 2 years in the dorm, 2 years out of the dorm, and I have a good amount of memories for both ways and everything in between from it. So, although I am saddened that I'm not spending the last year in the dorm, and the fact that, hey, look, I'm gonna have to spend it home for my senior year and everything, at the very least, we're getting to be on campus, and, you know, look, I'm trying to look on the bright side with this stuff too, and whatever, you know?
Team KO. Round 1.
It's just that the thing that especially so I am looking forwards to is the influx more of stupid stories and such that I'll be able to talk to my friends about. Because especially so, when it comes to these years going onwards, yeah, these years going onwards for school and life and everything in between, I have all of these years of, yeah, my schooling experience and such that I just want to look fondly upon. Because I have done lots of stupid stuff. Quite frankly so. I said stupid like I'm British, like flying. God damn it. Because of the meme. Darn it, flying. Well, yeah, that was literally the earliest dodge I could have ever done. You know, maybe when I went up the platform, I should have just preemptively, so I could stop my momentum too, but instead I just fed my life. But, yeah, dude, just all the stupid things that I've done during my school. Oh, man. I have memories upon memories that I'll be able to talk about right then and there when it comes to school. It's especially so, okay. Well, let me start off because I remember, like, when I went to get a haircut today, I was telling my barber about this. Of starting from middle school, not middle school, from high school, there was a lot of stupid things that, of course, like, high schoolers did in their day and age when it came to. The stupidest that I remember, that was just kind of like on principle of like, why are you doing this to yourself, was something called notching. Like Minecraft creator Notch, N-O-T-C-H, if that rings a bell for anybody or so. And I don't, like, so here's the basic gist of it. You know how kind of like somebody says, I bet you wouldn't do this, like I'll give you $5 if you, like, if you like actually like say what you, like do what you said you were gonna do, bet, whatever. It was kind of like that. Except that you said the word notch, and if the person didn't hold up their side of the bargain, instead of like, you know, getting like $5 from the bet from or with them or whatever, they shaved off an eyebrow. Sometimes you'd say double notch, which means that if they don't hold their side of the bet, you shave off both of the eyebrows. And it's like, what? Who thought of this trend? This is disgusting. I don't want to shave my eyebrows and such. And granted, I never did. But at the same time, it was like the fault of like, yeah, once again, who comes up with this idea? And like talking to like my barber and such, for instance, I was told that it was actually like a fad from like the 90s or so. But especially so when it came to, like, I had never heard of it in my generation and such and everything in between. And it just really, like, I wouldn't say irked me, but like, just, yeah, surprised me of like, what the heck? This is like what the cool kids are doing? I say in parentheses, because they weren't cool, they were stupid. They had 1 or 2 or no eyebrows when they came to school. So who really was the cool, who really was the stupid one at the end of the day? Not me, I came with both eyebrows every day. But, yeah, I remember that. I remember that for notching. Another thing that happened was, especially like when it came to football games, things did get rowdy sometimes. And like, okay, I'm just gonna go on about school drama stories and whatever in between, so hold your horses, everybody. Football games, of course, right? Sports teams are giving me the pride and joy for, for your schools and such. So it's like, you know, you're bringing in your state title and such, and everything in between. You're giving the school the pride of being state championship winners, or whatever and such. But especially so when it came to, that also meant like rivalries with schools, or, you know, like, yeah, inflamed relationships between, yeah, how schools and such perceived each other. It was bad. Some students really took it to extreme lengths. I remember, because it had to be said as like a huge talking point, I remember, of like, I think it was like during my sophomore year in school, with how, okay, so this is gonna sound really ludicrously stupid, but that's because it was, there was somebody who had taken down like the street sign that a school, or that like one of the schools was near, nearby, brought it to the football field of like the school that they were playing against, crashed it down, completely like destroyed it, and peed on it, I remember. And that was just like, those kids got a suspension first and foremost, I'll say that, to put it out there. It was from another school, not mine, thank goodness, because although we were stupid, it wasn't as stupid as that. But like, holy crap, dude! What the heck? Oh, hey, Lumi, you came in at a great time instead of talking about people peeing on signs. How you doing, Lumi? But like, what are people doing? Granted, we're like 14, 16-year-olds in high school and such, but like, I thought we'd just start making poo and pee jokes, because that's the thing that was like funny when we were like my school. The fact that like people at like their schools were really like, yeah, what if we take down the street sign that our rival school is that our rival school is at, throw it on their football field, and then pee on it, decide to I think that's a good idea. They got their suspensions and they freaking deserved it, dude. Like, people are stupid, not thinking that that's what they wouldn't expect. It's like, there's been that. I know I've told the toes story to my friends a million times over, and that is just like a tried and true high school classic that I'll always, oh god, I actually got double tapped, I'll always go back to. That's like, okay, I don't think I've told it on stream, but I'm gonna expose this person here, and hope you're doing well despite the subject matter, Lumi. I say we're, but yeah, overall the stream right now, talking about school, and the current thing that I'm going on school-wise, especially so, is the stupid stuff that has gone on in school. Whether it be drama, or just shenanigans, or anything in between, from, you know, the finest of high schoolers. Stool is icky. Oh, let me tell you about the story of how one man got the nickname of Toes for the little I'll be nice, and by I'll be nice, I've always been nice telling the story. I'm not gonna dox the guy's name, but basically I'll tell him like Bob Saget, generic name Bob Saget, generic name Bob Saget. Bob Saget was a pretty How does that curve underneath? What? You can do that? Dude, I'm gonna have to lab that later. But, anyway, Bob Saget was a pretty popular and well-respected member of the football team. The guy had a girlfriend that was... Oh no, I didn't know him. Gonna head off, have a safe day tomorrow? Yeah, alright, Fee. But anyway, yeah, Bob Saget was like a well-respected member of the football team. He was, yeah, I didn't know him, but he was like told to be like a pretty decent guy all around and such, or so. He was, yeah, he wasn't too bad at school and such. He was he was a pretty good student, everything in between. You know, like, he had like everything going for him. Until it came out that one day, it's like he had a foot fetish. And granted, that's nothing to be alarmed about by itself, but here's where things started going off the rails. The reason why Toes, his nickname, stuck through all that high school is because one day, now I heard this through the grapevine because he literally just got made a laughing stock for the rest of high school. He was at his girlfriend's house and he wanted to indulge in his fetish one day. His girlfriend wasn't feeling it, so she said no, and it's like, okay, that's within her boundaries. Very much so, understandable, have a nice day. But then, he was just kind of like, so it's like he didn't quit, he persisted, and then he asked his girlfriend's little sister, who had just come out of the shower, and also note, this little sister is, in middle school. He asked if he could suck her toes. And that's where the generalness of the story cuts off. That's all that I know, but yeah. Anytime somebody said it's like, hey, like, anytime like you heard like on like the announcements or something said Bob Saget come to the office, everybody would just immediately then go, Toes? Toes? It was bad, dude. Like, it was way bad. The fact that, like, you know, he would have turned into a school meme because of that was really, really, like, the most unfortunate thing of his whole high school career. So, yeah, he didn't get like, any suspensions or anything for it or so. He didn't necessarily like, get any punishment. But anytime anybody ever said his name after that, it's like, you know, you're gonna immediately hear Toes right after it. And it was just ruining, you know? You don't ever recover from that. Hey, what's your nickname at school? Oh, yours is like, hey, Birdman, or TC. No, this guy's nickname was Toes. Wasn't there some things worse than suspension? Yeah, talked about it to Bob Saget. I say in parentheses, that's placeholder name for him, so I don't dox him. Because, what, I feel bad for the man, but also at the same time, it's like, dude, you don't do that. You don't go over to the middle school little sister of your girlfriend and ask, what? She just literally walked out of the shower. Hey, milady, can I suck your toes? I'm, like, you do not do that, dude. I mean, that's my nickname in school is. I think it's just my name, but shortened. I didn't have any special nicknames in school. The most that I really had, I guess you could say, was just Cruiser. That's because, like, I had it with my gaming groups, and that's my tag, you know? My name's Chartreuse, but my name is, but my gaming tag is Cruiser. You understand, yeah? Otherwise, yeah, I really didn't have any nicknames at all. I know that, like, we had, okay, one great person that we had, his last name was Radcliffe? Like, the actor Daniel Radcliffe, you know, Harry Potter actor. But especially so, like, the thing that made it super iconic and funny was how the man himself, like, we always had memes and names and whatever spinning off of it and such. And so when it came to, especially so, you would have like, okay, Radcliffe, we had Sadcliffe, etc., going onwards from that, like iconic meme name wise and everything in between. And he was a really, really cool guy, all things considered and everything in between for that. But yeah, it's just like, we didn't refer to him as like first name like Bob or Sam or whatever. We just called him Radcliffe, or depending on how I was feeling, Sadcliffe, or whatever. Like, I think my favorite, our favorite meme with that, especially so, that came to, was he had a shirt that had like Bob Sadcliffe, Bob Radcliffe, and it was, yeah, his like, it was his it was his face on, like, photoshopped onto a cliff with him sad for Sadcliffe, and then like him with like some like epic sunglasses and such like that or so for Radcliffe, you know? And I think that was like my favorite shirt that I saw him always wearing, because yeah, dude, that's just baller to have a shirt of yourself that says Radcliffe or Sadcliffe. That's great stuff. And hey there, Camino. No Chadcliffe? Nah, Chad means weren't in Matt then. Remember, this started 2016. How you doing? It's been a little while. We really still don't get to talk much at all. Okay, hold up here. Just drawing attention right now, because we are still playing video games. Man, these video games are playing hardball right now. See you, nerd. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully you're doing well, sweetie. But, let's see here. What other things? At least, like, if we're looking nickname-wise, and whatever, for when it came to, like, my friends, yeah, we just kind of referred to each other by either our real names, or just, yeah, our video game tags and such, and everything in between. Because, especially so, like, it's like, it wasn't like we had any cool names to each other. It was just like, hey Bob, hey Sam, hey Tim, hey Joe. You know? I feel like unless you become like the school cryptid who has like 5 stories about them, like Bob Saget, aka Toes, it really becomes a different story then. But otherwise, like, hey, look, I'll gladly give the pass over to anybody else on that end, man, you know? Ah, that sucks. Oh, well. I don't have a nickname IRL, but I have names on the internet? Yeah, there you go. I know at least, like, when it came to... Yeah, like, once again... Online? Okay, I find this, to deviate from, like, school nicknames and whatever, to just, like, nicknames in general, I find it hilarious that online, my name is Chartreuse Proxy. I usually tell people to call me Cruiser, or Cruisy, or just Cruise, because, hey, that's really the names that I've always gone by, no matter what, like, through test of time and everything in between. So, it's just kind of like, hey, yeah, quite literally so is what I'm used to. And because of that, like, yeah, there's that there, but because of, you know, like, the influence of, like, Japanese names and everything VTubing-wise and such, a lot of people refer to me as Proxy first and foremost. When it comes to, like, yeah, when they're referring to names and such, because, you know, like, last name, first name, Japanese, like, style basis or so. But it becomes a much weirder bad, because it's like, my name is not Japanese inspired. It has no, like, yeah, Japanese connotation or everything in between. I'm getting soda, this sucks. But especially so, it's just kind of like, I had never been called Proxy in any of my other friend circles or anything in between, you know? I have just always been, hey, Cruz, how you doing, Cruz? And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing necessarily, I'm just saying it's like, hey, like, odd man out, stickler in the mud, like, hey, dude, this isn't what I'm used to. Not that it's a problem, but yeah, it's just like, hey, dude. Right, hey, this isn't just my norm. Like, okay, I'm fine with this, but I just didn't expect it too, you know? Alright, let's be on the lookout in case any of them want to catch. Yep, there you go. Out of there. Give me the prison ball. The normal name, it's not mine. Fair, fair, fair. Hold on. That's definitely not a game win. I didn't lob him like I meant to, and that should actually be a big throw. Yeah, nice try, dude. Just trying to focus up, that way we can actually close the round there. But yeah, I'd always called Proxy by some of my first friends. And yeah, granted, like, a lot of my first friends in the VTubing community were, what's his face? Yeah, have Japanese style names, Japanese inspired, etc., stuff like that or so. But it's like, when I literally had it, like, in my bio, in my intro and such like that or so, it was another story of just then saying, like, hey, dude, I'm literally putting it out here to you of saying, like, I'm more used to Cruz than just Proxy. But they just found it, yeah, call me Proxy first and foremost when they saw my name. When I said, I'm Chartreuse Proxy, please, call me Cruz. Like, okay, I can vibe with this, but at the same time, like, eh? It's like, unless like, you're being referred to in, like, a very formal sense, you're not just gonna be going like, hey, how you doing, last name? Or like, Mr. Mrs. last name, whatever, you know? How was your day? Not too bad. Just been productive enough as much as I can be. And just overall chilling out and such, you know? We're streaming, I was talking about school stuff, and it got to, like, school drama and nicknames and everything in between. But now, I'm just kind of talking about online internet tags and whatever in between at the moment. Because that's just, like, where we evolved to. And that was a hard throw, dude. I should have just, like, headbutted for a ball or something. I'm always wanting to preemptively chat, but that's me failing my mind games. That's why my teammates failing the 1v2 earlier there. Yeah, I'm not gonna engage. Like, you don't on-bomb it like that, dude. Just don't. Alright. There we go. Just being quiet for 2 seconds here so we can focus up on solid gameplay that's happening right now.
Gold team takes the lead. Knockout frenzy. Blue team takes the lead.
Hold on, everybody, just give me 2 seconds here. It's 8-7, final round, so I want to make sure that we make this count. Oh, that didn't work. Alright. Let's break a stalemate, shall we? Or they could just start feeding us balls back. Alright. Alright. Give it to us. Put some pressure on. There you go. Alright, back to that, what I was saying there. But yeah, online, I've gotten... Okay, Chartreuse, Proxy. I've gotten Proxy, probably the most. I've gotten Char, like Hoshino Char, Sunarina. I've gotten Cruz, I've gotten Cruiser. Flying affectionately calls me Cruzy all the time, of course. Granted, I put myself like out there once again of just saying, like, hey, you don't have to call me Chartreuse, you can just call me Cruz. I actually really don't get anybody calling me Chartreuse much besides just kind of like, out of like business stuff of like, when you put it to commissions and everything in between. It's just kind of like, oh, okay there. You know, because they're being formal, and who can fault themselves, that's just exactly how it is. I say Cruzy because that's just the first name I know. I mean, that's not a bad thing now. It's just kind of like, hey, that's, yeah, what you're used to. But I'll say this, like, when I was still in my old model, for instance, or so, when I was doing, like, yeah, in my old model, my old intro was like, it's your magic, it's your, like, wait, it's your Mage of Mishaps, your cruise ship captain. Sorry, Cruise Proxy, ever at your service, but please, call me Cruise. That's how I always wrote off every stream before. Now, your whimsical wind mage, your cruise ship captain. Whatever, such right that or so. Actually, no. I got my intro raw in my old one. It's your Mage of Mishaps, mastering her magic one day at a time. Chartreuse Proxy, ever at your service, but please call me Cruz. Okay, that was my old intro. Wow, it's actually been so long that I couldn't freaking remember it at all, dude. But, like, hopefully my point especially stands through of, like, hey, look, dude. Like, especially so when, like, when these times come along, it's been quite a long while. And, like, once again, I've been VTubing for a year now. Of literally, yeah, me repeating that same phrase over and over and over again. So, it's not that, like, it's not that it's a requirement to know, but at the same time, you know, hey, I'd kind of expect this to be almost common knowledge, just about, you know? Or, like, you know, if you say it's like, hey, I'm streaming on a Tuesday, it's like, what are you doing this Tuesday? I'm streaming, dude. I always stream on a Tuesday. Like, hopefully that makes sense, so like, argument's sake and such, you know?
Blue team takes the
Nope.
lead.
Okay, good. That's good stuff. Okay, that's a trade, 6-5. But, yeah. And I'll say this too. Chartreuse, for those of you that, like, don't know the etymology behind my name, Chartreuse Proxy is quite literally super easy. It is, like, I say super easy, but it's not, like, it's, like, I say super easy, I said the wrong word, it's actually pretty simple origins, is what I meant to say there. Also, like, my teammates, I know I went in there to contest the multi-balls, but, like, were they still in the spawn wave there to begin with? Because we are getting run down a good bit more, granted because it's multi-balls. At the same time, it's like, this is a little bit painful. Like, a little bit so. Give me 2 seconds here, everybody. Ah, I couldn't catch it in time. That sucks. But, Chartreuse, if you guys don't know, is a yellow greenish color that is commonly found in, that is named after, I think, like, French alcohol or so. Exactly so. And so, especially when it comes to, yeah, the way that you pronounce it is very, very much so French. Chartreuse Proxy.
Blue team takes the lead.
Ah, darn it. Okay, that's fine. Can make this work.
It's all tied up.
Right behind you. But yeah, Chartreuse Proxy. Proxy, like, Chartreuse is my favorite color itself. Hence my namesake. And then Proxy, to do something by Proxy is to have someone else do it. Or, like, yeah, to, like, assign a second to do something for you or so. So when I'm doing my VTubing stuff, it's not me that's doing it, necessarily, like my IRL self. It's me doing, it's me, my model, myself online, doing it by Proxy. Which also is where my little podcast style streams, like the ones we have here today, get their name. Podcast by Proxy. If no one else is doing it, then I will. Naming origins, guys. Congratulations. But hopefully that especially so does make sense, guys. Okay, that nerd. I'll take a trade. Darn it. These guys have real good teamwork, and my own teammates aren't just up to snuff. Granted, I keep getting isolated in these 1v1s, but like, yeah, dude, they just got run over hard. Which really sucks. Did I do the iTower redeem? No, you did not. You did not do any redeems, I don't think. Oh, no, you did. It just got pushed back up way far up. Sorry about that now. I'll be sure to revamp that in just 1 second here. I'll be right back. Sorry. Usually if like Flying or one of my other mods is around, they give me a better heads up because I'm very oblivious to like the redeem sometimes or so. There we go. Your purple eye color, straight for you. But yeah, like, it's no secret of who I am, I guess, or so, or like, rather, like, my face has been on the internet before. I've cosplayed, I have a few pictures and whatever on for me, and such. But especially so, when it comes to, that's his face. He can be more oblivious than me, it's actually impossible. Doubt. I'll just not pay attention to chat anymore. Smile. Okay. Anyway, going on from what I was trying to say here, especially so when it comes to...
Let's see what you got.
Shoot, I forgot my train of thought because I was laughing to myself. Darn it! You made me forget, Fat! What was I talking about? Ah, there we go. When it comes to... My face has been on the internet before, I've cosplayed, and also, if you can't tell by my voice, I'm a guy.
Team KO.
No voice changer, no, like, yeah, no nothing to, like, make me sound differently. I just straight up am a guy. Nothing simpler or more complex than that at all. It's just who I am, quite simply so. I play a female character online who is, yeah, once again, Chartreuse Proxy. That's literally as complicated as it needs to get. I'm not trying to, like, say anything about, like, myself or so. It's literally, yeah, just me playing a character. Nope, I could have gotten double teamed right there. But I didn't. Never mind. My teammate just fell back and I took the hit for him. Darn it. But yeah, especially so when it comes to, like, this name and nomenclature and everything in between and such. Or when it comes to here. I'm not putting up any ats. I'm not trying to be anybody that I'm not. It's just, what's his face? It just quite simply so is just me being a cute anime girl online. And when it comes to, like, like, the subject of, like, those nicknames and such, I'll just take them out to a nice kind of liking, because once again, it's nobody else but just me being me. Simple as that. So yeah, see you, nerd, that's why you never pursue through the pipes. Imagine being anime? Laughs in you, big fat, you're not anime. You're cringe. You're cringe! Why is he here? He posted cringe! Oh, that didn't work out the way I wanted it to. Shoot. I know. Hey, look, we're all just laughing on your cringe real life person. Nah, don't put yourself down like that now. You should be baller, real life person. I don't know. That's the nice thing about the internet, though. Yeah, you're just as anonymous as you want to be, which I am always grateful for. Because although I do have, like, my cosplay such and whatever, I don't have to, like, conform by any standards. I can be, like, especially so, like, with representation on our, like, on our online market. You have so many, like, trans people, both ways, male, female, female to male. You have so many bi. You have so many non-binary. He, her, they, them, 4-slotted, 2-slotted toaster ovens, and all of that in between, you know? And it's just so fantastic to get to see the different amount of representation that we get from everybody in the community here. But also it means that, like, I can also find my little niche too of, like, hey, what? I want it to be anime. I like anime. I like everything to go with it and everything in between. But at the same time or so, especially when it comes to, it's like, I'm not trying to, like, set myself, like, with an agenda of saying, like, because, like, I know, like, this comes up a lot, especially so, actually, of just, you're setting yourself forwards of, like, because you're a girl online means you're saying something about your sexuality or how you identify or whatever. It's like, hey, no. I know it gets a little sick and twisted with, like, how people can assume on the internet or so, but for me, it literally doesn't get any simpler than, yeah, I'm just guy playing cute girl online. Why? Because she's cute. That's literally the only reason that I have for it, and that's the only reason that I want to keep for it, you know? I just feel like I'm just like putting this out here in the atmosphere, because especially so when it comes to, like, I know like for example, VTubers drop your pings, like, hey, girls, guys, drop your pings or whatever, like pings, PNGs, I mean, drop your pictures and such. I always feel like I'm in a weird place because I don't necessarily fit into a nice little basket and whatever, you know? I'm just kind of here as just a guy who plays as a girl online. I'm not a girl necessarily. I'm not a guy necessarily. And it puts me in this, once again, this weird ass basket where I don't know where I necessarily would fit at all, because it's like I'm not in place with the guys because I'm not a guy in my VTube self, and I'm not a girl because, well, I'm not a girl IRL. So because of that, I'm now just in this, yeah, once again, this weird little flex state where I'm just like, what am I? Like, what would I necessarily let myself be called? Or like, necessarily, yeah, come to in that sense or so. Because I feel like it's a very big disservice to consider myself either way, and so I just refrain from anything with that. I try to set it up as just like, yeah, I'm a guy playing an anime girl, but you know, it gets sick and twisted, no matter where you look at it, because it's the internet. What else is the internet gonna do? What is this guy's reaction times? Right, actually, so.
Gold team needs one more point to win the match.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Team wins.
And hey there, Flying. Hope you're doing well. I know how that feels. Well, yeah, it's just like, we have all the varied people on the internet, especially so, and when it comes to, there's all, like, you'll find everybody fitting in those different baskets, and also not being able to find their way to fit into the basket. I'm in that kind of, like, weird section to where, like I said before, I just exist, because I don't fall underneath anywhere. It's just kind of like, hey, yeah, where do I sit? Because I know, like, Panda, World and Panda, otherwise known as Pan, one of my great friends, for instance, or so, they, like, he's a guy, he's happily married IRL or so, and it came to a weird fault because it's like, hey, he's a guy playing an anime girl online, he didn't know how to say, like, he didn't know how to take himself. He eventually found out that he wanted to, you know, go by they, them, and, you know, continue going onwards from there, because he felt right, because he found himself identifying as non-binary, and that's really good for him. But he was going through the same flux as well, just kind of like he doesn't know how it is. How it is to, like, identify or, like, find himself in that argument or so. And granted, it took him some time and, like, a good amount of, like, soul searching in those regards and such, especially in between. Oh my goodness, our ball state is ruined to begin with. But once again, like when it came to, like, it was kind of like a big thing for him growing wise. But for me, it's like, I'm not non-binary or anything of that sort or so. I'm just kind of here. I'm very confident in myself, gender, sexuality wise and such, so for me, I'm just kind of like, online, I'm a cryptid, I just exist. You know? It sounds a little disingenuous to, like, yeah, put myself down like that, but, like, at the same time, it's like, yeah, like, how would you classify this D-class specimen? Darn it. I really just need to not instinctively catch throw so much. I throw my catch out so much because people are always just holding their throws. And I'm really baiting myself into that casual mindset of just, hey, I see a ball, I'm throwing right now, you know? Let's say I saw the indicator right above me or so. I wanted to be prepared for that in case he threw. Okay, spaced away. Keep him fed. And thank you for the hydrate, by the way, sister. I took that when I was taking a breath in my toppets. But yeah, like... It's just like... It's funny getting to go out there and say, hey, look, I exist on the internet. What more do you want from me, man? Nope. Nobody gets that ball but me. Shoot. Nope, that's mine. Get on my way. I'm a guy, and what you say is... My mascot greens? Yeah, there you go. Mascot's a good way to put it, but at the same time, I'm just kind of like, hey, I'm a person online. I exist, dude. Put me out there on the spectrum. I don't belong on, like, the LGBT spectrum or anything there, but it's just like, hey. And if I as a paper to him, get it over with? No, because then that means I'm in the same species as Clippy, and he is actually a cryptid of this mortal realm. So no, thank you. I'm big fat and I play fighting games. I literally do nothing else. Hey, what's up? My name's Jason. I'm 19 and I never learned how to fucking read. But I'm just like putting it out there because, like, once again, although, like, you know, it's never going to be necessarily a problem when it comes to, like, identification or so. Because, like, who's really gonna care about gender online besides if I'm, like, trying to enter a tournament like male, female only or something of that sort or so, you know? The only person that needs to be confident in myself about who I am is me. If somebody doesn't want to accept me, that's how it is. It's just that, once again, for my situation, it's weird. It's very, very on the, like, you know, off the grid weird. But good. Once again, I'm confident with myself IRL. I'm confident for myself online. It's just that, once again, when it comes to people can get the wrong ideas with, like, assuming and such, or also trying to twist things. It really hits that weird fault, you know? Alright, where are my teammates going? Might as well support this guy over here. Thought I heard him falling on. I did it again. A bad muscle memory. Good thing my flanks are not nice at all. You're an adorable cutie. Thank you, I would. We're just trying to make things work as best as we can, day by day, yeah? That's all that we can do. I just wanted to put it out there, because I know we got talking about the nickname topics and everything in between, and granted, this has been one of the longest, like, you know, tangents away in the universe when it comes to my original topic of school and such like that or so, you know? I've really gotten away I've shied away from my original purpose. What am I doing with my life that I've been given? Holy crap, that was kind of close. Yeah, I'm not falling for it this time, dude.
Gold team takes the lead.
Alright, they're all over there. If I can try to save my boy's life, I will. Darn it. Okay, I can get the ball. Oh! There's a little incline right there. That's nice. Good stuff. That was like one of the longest chases for no good reason whatsoever. There we go. Good stuff. Triple is what we need. This is annoying. I started eating a lot of watermelon lately. I don't know why I haven't eaten watermelon before. It's summer. At least for like how it is, it's hot. And also, with how things are, especially so, it's just like, yeah. You may just be experiencing something new, and it's kind of like, how have I not ever had this before, dude? It's like one of those just like, hey, nice. Darn it, I thought I could get him around the corner with it before he got the ball. Not even hot in my environment, I just like watermelon? But yeah, what haven't you eaten in a while then, fat? Why haven't you eaten it then? If you like it, why don't you treat yourself? It's still summer anyway. Treat yourself well, boy. Yeah, nice self-throw, by the way, nerd. I know the meta that you're trying to do here. Oh my goodness, what an unfortunate miscalculation. Ish. It's whatever. Get the ball, we get out of there. Take it. Good hit. On match point. That didn't hit somehow. Ah, shoot, I hit my head. Come on, teammates, close it out. You guys can do it. Don't throw like this, please. It's really good when it's sweet and cold. Yeah, that's exactly how watermelon should be. Nice. On like hot, like not sweltering hot summer days, but like, you know, like on those days to where you can just, yeah, sit down and just enjoy it fully for what it is. A fruit beverage wrapped up in cool. What's its face? Like wrapped up in nice, cool. I don't know how to describe the texture of watermelon. I'd say kind of like I actually have no idea. I want to say it's like liquid paper was what I was gonna go on to, but then I was like, no, that doesn't work at all. But you know, it's weird. It's weird. But you have it in a smoothie? Watermelon smoothies are pretty darn delicious, dude. I don't know what to tell you. Besides that they're nice. Okay, real quick though. Before I do go on with getting back to my school topics, I'm going to use the restroom because I've been drinking a lot of water and my slushy and my snow cone. I'll be right back, everybody. Slightly spongy? No, I guess you could say that. Alright, I'm back in, everybody. I'm back in. Watermelon sorbet is where it's at. Hey, that's the good stuff. And sure, Flying, if you want in, I'll hop in for you real quick, because you usually are my co-host. Check. Mic 2, 1, 2, 3.
3, 2, 1.
There you go, Flying. How you doing, sweetie?
Hi, baby. I'm okay. I'm doing alright.
Good to hear. I've been going for an hour, 40 minutes now, since you've been asleep and such and everything in between.
Mm-hmm.
But here, I want to get your input on this, since with that little break, I might as well get back to the topic I was going on to. Most of today on the podcast by Proxy has been talking about school, whether it be like my current upcoming semester, like, hey, if I've actually gotten anything of value out of school, like when it came to like life lessons or actually like improving like how I'm learning and such and everything in between. And especially so when it came to our current topic that we had been going on about was school shenanigans, any drama, anything in between, because I got to tell the Toad story again on stream this time, if you remember that one. Yep. So that was a trip and a half. And I wanted to know, like, for you, British schooling wise, did you have any stupid stories that you had to go onwards with, or that you might have wanted to tell on stream and such?
Honestly, not really. My school days were not the best.
Not the best? Should I just stray away from that topic then? Because I still have many other stories I can share myself.
Like, it's not even that you can stray away, it's like, I literally have no school anecdotes. My school life was boring as shit.
Aw, that's no fun. That's no fun. Alright, well, let me tell about, like, some other great things here. You know about, like, Harry Potter, like, enough. Like, okay, this like let me just sum it up. The Harry Potter house system, you know. You have, you have shoot, names that slipped me. Slytherin, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, and Gryffindor. Yeah.
Of course.
My high school, we had something called the House Intramural System, directly inspired by Harry Potter. One of our teachers was labeled, I just need to say like the head commissioner of it. And when you entered in during your freshman orientation, we had 10 houses that you were separated into based off of different founders of the school and such. Because like we're a Catholic high school. So we had like a lot of like brothers, sisters, whatever to like look to for inspiration and such, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
Especially when it came to the biggest thing about it is that you had things like, of course, your house intramurals. You had we had like during homeroom, like I think it was like Tuesday for a trivia Tuesdays and such. We got to do a trivia quiz that was done on the PA system. Where it's like weird twists and like music, pop culture, like if like, hey, like name this famous like line from a movie, or like, can you like recognize this famous tune? Like we wrote it down, delivered it into like the office, and we got points off of it, and like many other things. So like when we got to football games, like for the school and such, you know, like students get in free, right? Just like present that you're a student to the school. On that, it also told you like on our school IDs, it also told you what house you were, so that they could log it and whatever too. And this all contributed to house points and whatever that you could win the cup, because they had announced like who's in the lead like every 2 weeks or so, and you got points and you got like special perks and whatever for it. Like the way that they did things for the lunchroom and such was what's his face was you got to was like you were sitting like rows like 1 through 8, and they'd really just call row 1 through 8 at random. However, whoever was leading the house cup, like whoever was like that had the most at those like 2 weeks and such and whatever, was whichever house like had the most at like 2 weeks, not just kind of like winning the house cup overall, but who had gotten the most points in those 2 weeks, got to go in front of everybody before they even called any of the rows. So it was incentive for that to happen, along with the fact that as well as that. It wasn't just the students that participated, but the teachers could too. They got to participate and help us in like the trivia. They couldn't compete in the intramurals, of course, but they got to help us in trivia, or like some of the other miscellaneous stuff, and whatever, and or like offer their own incentives and rewards. And so that was a real highlight of my high school experience, I will say, of just like, you know, like you get this really unique system and camaraderie, and also rivalry with your friends, because they separated up the middle schools and everything in between mostly by, okay, at the very least you're not going, like, good. If you went to, like, Et's middle school, we're going to divide everybody who went to that middle school into different houses. That way, one, you're forced to make other friends, but also, even if you did hang with your friends, they're from another house, those dirty traitors.
Okay, I mean, we had something, I'd say we had something similar. Our school was small, and B, so, like, and also, the house system didn't really matter, you know. So there was 2 systems in our school. We had the form system, which was basically each year, which is equivalent to your grades. We just call them years because we're simpletons. Like each year was separated into 5 forms. So that's a total of 25 overall.
Can I just say, it's like, does the etymology of like the word form have any basis? Because like, if I hear the word form, it's kind of like, do you mean like Spartan form? Is it like the Jedi, like this 7 ways to like lightsaber duel? Those 7 forms, like, because that's like.
Yeah, no, it is literally like form as in just, you know, I don't know, formation, I guess.
Weird.
It's the equivalent to your homeroom classes, where like in the beginning of the day, or like in the beginning of the day.
Yeah, but they just call it homeroom. Why does it have to be called forms?
Because we never called it homeroom. Homeroom is for Yanks.
For Yanks, like, you know, I'll give you that. But also, homeroom is really like, you're just in your own homeroom. You're not in a form.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like home, sweetie.
You get what I mean. You get what I mean.
The house system was, so we had 5 houses, Originally we had 4 houses. They only added the 5th one, like sort of 3 years into my school career, I guess. They had so the houses were split amongst all years. So whether you were in 7th year, like year 7, whether you're in year 11, which is bottom up, you know, you were in the same houses. And the only times that these mattered were sports. So sports day, cross country, and like the cross country lap around the whole field, and like the sports cross sports like football game that they did once a year.
Yeah.
Like these are the only time that they mattered. They didn't give out house points for anything else except sport. No one gave a shit about houses except for sport.
That sucks.
Until I left. So my little brother goes to the same school that I used to, because that's, you know, just
that's just natural family progression.
And it turns out after I left, they scrapped the form system, and now all years are split into the houses. So you might be in like 7, I don't know, tree. They were named after like religious places, because, you know, Catholic school. They were named after like religious pilgrimage spots.
Yeah.
So I don't know, you might have like 7 lords, or, you know, 8 lords or whatever. And then like then they actually started, you know, giving out house points. So it doesn't matter what year you're in, they actually cared about the system. So maybe I'll ask my little brother how it works. Who knows? Maybe it's something exciting nowadays. But when I was there, nobody gave a damn about houses except for sports.
That's unfortunate. I mean, granted, when I had come into my high school, it was only the 2nd year that they had... Actually, no, it was the 3rd year, I mean. Right, when my freshman year was the 3rd year they had done the house system, so it was really kind of a little set in stone. And because when I attended high school, 2014 to 18, they started in 2012. Okay, it's not archaic, you know? That's pretty darn modern.
Yeah.
So, and especially like with the teacher that was, the teacher that was the one that set everything up, he was in touch with the student council, and was also a coach of a basketball team, both on campus and also of a middle school one. And I'm saying this to his credit of like, he saw every single side of the problem of like getting like everybody to actually be involved, student teachers and everything in the light, and he was really able to like leverage it very well. He had a he had a really tight grip on like the definition of like on this house stuff, and it really worked to his favor, especially so when it came to just putting out content, if you want to say it that way.
I have questions.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that like it's like the student council, or the, you know, having a sports team that has far more power in the school than it should. Like, is everything I see about American schools in movies like true? Like Spider-Man: Homecoming sort of thing, High School Musical, 17 again. Is all of that like actually how?
I mean, if you turn down like the drama bar, yeah, actually so. It's not too bad. Like of course, dude, like the drama stuff. Like if you went to like High School Musical or so, people like. Yeah, you're not gonna have like, the drama of like, do I stay in like theater or do I commit to the Wildcats basketball team or whatever? It's like, nah, dude, it's really like, just subtract the drama. It's like, yeah, you have people who like are doing double duty and such. I did band and theater, but it was really just kind of like they worked between each other and such, you know.
Does everyone like separate into the little cliques in the lunchroom and, you know?
I mean, I guess it's a quits because like, I'm speaking for like my side.
I'm thinking Mean Girls at this point.
Oh. Well, it's like, if I'm going to really put it out here, and everything in between, especially so when it came to, yeah, I was in my own clique because I was both, like, double-dipping in band and in theater kids, and I really didn't get to associate with, like, the football team and whatever, like, those guys too much, like, the person from the Epitomous Toes story was a football player, and I really didn't know him besides, like, he was a decent guy from, like, what I had heard, or so, before the Toes incident, and he still was, it's straight, you know, he took that fetish way too far. But aside from the point, it's like, it was an antagonistic relationship. It was just kind of like, okay, you exist, but it's like, You know, it's like that apathy of like, yeah, you exist, but you're not on my radar, which is like, why should I care about you? Is like more of how it was. And it's not like, it's not being mean, it's just really, yeah, it's like, why should I care about you? You line up with none of my interests.
Yeah,
Blue team wins.
I know the feel.
But, when it came to especially so, like, the way that they did it, like, they did it during freshman orientation once again, so even if you sat down with, like, your friends, they already had the log, and they already knew, like, which house you're gonna be in when you went to freshman orientation. You couldn't be like, if we here at St. Anthony High School sit at exactly the 4th position at every table, we'll be able to divide ourselves, and sort into the same house. No, it doesn't work that way. You already had your house pre-designed from birth. Congratulations.
I mean, I'm not too familiar with like the idea or the art of being like in any group because, fun fact, your girl was at the bottom of the pile, no matter where she was.
Oh, fine.
I was everybody's punching bag in primary school, secondary school, college, uni, whatever.
Were they beating the biscuits out of you?
God damn it, sweetie. No, they were beating the cookie.
Oh wait, no, I was about to say, sorry, you went to a private British school. They were beating the crumpets out of you. You're more civilized than biscuits alone.
How dare you? We only have state schools.
I'm just toying with you now, but anyway, like, they divided, so it's like a tenth of the seniors were in this house, a tenth of the freshmen were in this house. Like, they divided all freshmen, sophomore, junior, seniors all into tenths for each of the houses or so. And it seems like that would be a pretty big divide, but it's like especially with like the size of our high school, we weren't any like small Catholic high school or so. You had like a good like 20-30 people per class, like per homeroom. So you still got a pretty good divide when it came to.
Yeah, it was the same here. It was like you had about anywhere between like 25 and 30 kids were in each form in our school. So you had like 150 kids in the year.
Yeah.
Like 120 something kids in the year. So you had about a total of about 600 kids in the whole school.
Awesome.
But, like,
oh, there you go. So, but yeah, go on, fine. Sorry, I was just reacting to chat.
I have chat, but I don't know. Yeah. No. So when it comes to about like for me, like I never really fit in anywhere. Like I had friend groups, but I was the person in the friend group who everyone took the piss out of, and it was the kind of, it wasn't even imposter syndrome. Literally, if I wasn't there, no one gave a damn. If I was there, it was like, oh, hey, Flang. And then I would just sort of sit there and, exist.
That's nuts.
Yeah, but school bullies, what can you do?
Yeah, like, we didn't have any boys necessarily at my school or so, and especially like, when it came to quits, you couldn't mess around, like, yeah, nobody's really messing around with each other, we just kind of were like, no, it was once again of just like, that apathy of just, okay, you existed, there's nothing more than that. And so there's nothing like more around with that, it's just like, once again, we had our priorities elsewhere, and at least for me, I got a lot luckier because my interest of band, theater was pretty darn small in the school, but band, we had, like, pretty good accolades or whatever, along with, like, a few other, like, nice things of, like, we are, like, one of, like, the oldest bands in America, or, like, some bull like that, or so. So, because of that, like, we were, like, pretty well known, like, for this, in the school, like, in this city, for, like, having, like, a big band program, like, big storied history with it, or so. So, it's, like, I guess, like, you couldn't come to any shit-talking on that spectrum or so, but, yeah, like, there really wasn't any big boys, because the main thing was, with a lot of it, is being Catholic private school, yeah, even though you did have, like, yeah, you could have, like, the generic story of, like, doesn't matter how bad my kid is doing, if we can pay your school and finance it well, you can keep him on the football team on the A spot or whatever. Yeah, that does happen, realistically so, in both, like, in fiction and in real life, but, like, for my school, it was really like, hey, dude, like, there was really a system in place of just, if your grades are, like, like, below, like, this point average or so, you're being taken to, like, the bench on the teams. You actually have to maintain your grades. even if you were in like the easiest classes, they still made you have to meet this benchmark average of like your grades and such, so you could actually play for the teams. And it did happen to like, hey, doesn't matter if like we actually had like 2 stars of like I think like the football team basically flunking out, and it's like, nah, the coaches had a good head on them, and we're like, nope, well, it doesn't matter if you're good or not. If you can't just be a football player only. You need to still be a student enough. You know?
Yeah, I see that.
And maybe like, yeah, I'd say for the better detriment of like those kids, but at the same time, it's like when you are flunking out, dude. Yeah, you may have skills in football, but unless you just want to peak in high school, and that's it. Because like, what are you gonna do? Like, for like, I'm saying this very objectively so for flying, which is, for instance, she's British. You're gonna play a Division 2 over. You're basically playing in like the minor leagues before you go to like the major leagues of baseball, like to try to be like a professional. You know, you're playing in the smallest circuits after high school. If football is all that you bring, and there's probably millions of other kids that are exactly like you, like they're only good at football and they're banking on, you know, they're that special 1 in a million snowflake that is going to be the cream of the crop.
I've seen it happen like here, where like if you're in like the top, like, you know, the representative sports team, like where it's like, yeah, you've got different sports teams for like hockey, football, basketball, or whatever, but like, and by football I mean soccer because I'm not degenerate. But like,
Oh, I'm sorry. You want to call it by like hacky sacky, passy handy? I don't know.
Really?
I was making fun of how you call your sports.
Fair enough. Yeah, but you'd have the one team who was like the you know, the team that got sent off to other schools or to varsity or whatever.
Yeah, I get you.
And they became the representative. Like, you know, you'd have, oh, this is fucking Moordale High's swim team. Like, and it was like, okay, sure, like, and they became like the, but then you had people who are like, right, they're like your top athlete, but they get like B's and C's, like maybe less in their classes, and it's like, sure, like, and you know, they got away with it because they were in the swim team. It was like,
yeah,
right, the school's already like teaching things, and then it was like, okay. There was one where like one of the football kids got their knee injured, and they, you know, couldn't play football for like 6 weeks. And it was like, and then the headmaster, which is what we call principals.
I won't say that's too weird. You hear headmaster in fantasy all the time now.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, the headmaster was like, so, like, average grades are fine, but seeing as you're not, like, you know, seeing as you're not actually in the sports team, you're not like doing anything, so you kind of need to boost your grades up. And it's like, sure. So yeah, it's a sort of a weird, like, you can get away with it for now, but then like, yeah, you kind of need to have a backup. Because, as you said, like, you know, sports people tend to sort of peak at 21 and then die out.
I was about to say, it's like yeah, it's actually so, like, the fact is like, no matter your view on sports, especially so, or like, looking at it, of like, there's a reason why they're still popular, no matter, like, despite, like, even if you're not into it, and like, let's face it, we're nerds, unless we're playing like Rocket League, you're not looking at any sports, you know?
Nope.
Not looking at any actual, like, thing based on real sports nearby, unless you're a Rocket League fan, which, by God, they have so much skill. But anyway, that's like, beside the point of like, there's a reason why it's like
playing dodgeball.
There's a reason why like so many why it's like, yeah, you peaked at high school is like not only a meme phrase, but also like a sad reality too, especially so when it comes to, yeah, your sports ball careers and everything in between. It really does come to that bigger fault of just, you may be good, but at the same time it's like, hey, where's your development roadmap for the Game of Life version 2021? Yeah, dude, like, where are you looking if this doesn't pan out for you? Because it's already good, because many times already over, and we've seen it in history very much so, of just kind of like, hey, look, dude, you're not in varsity, so you're not cool in our book, and things are going downhill for you. Yeah, you may be sports team, but you're not even the A team, or you're just riding the bench and whatever, such like that or so, you know? It comes to a bigger, it then comes to a bigger fault of like, what are you offering besides just yourself on the table? Of just you're not even a sports ball player anymore. Hold on, let me just take a sip of water because I want to go on with my point. Okay, we're rehydrated. We're all good to go again. Especially, yeah, like when it comes to that bigger fault of just what are you bringing to the table. That's where, I guess, like, it very much so broke down. And like I just said as well, unless you are that special candidate, that 1 in a million, like, I don't know, like, the Manning brothers, Peyton and Eli Manning, who will change the landscape of football and, like, I don't know, GOAT, or, I don't know, are they the GOATs? I just know that they're pretty popular quarterbacks and such. Like, especially so, like, yeah, dude, it comes to a bigger fault of, if you don't get your big break, like, right now or so, it's not gonna come anytime soon, and it's just gonna only, you know, start to slowly get a little bit worse for you, with, like, your prospects, especially so.
Gold team is falling way behind.
Because, like, once you're out of the sports scene, like, you don't have any other, like, skills or qualifications to fall back on, because that's all you focused on.
And especially, like, when it comes to, like, what you said there about, right, that argument's sake of, what if you get injured? Yeah, dude, you have no place to fall back on. And I'm talking about this in, like, the realm of, like, your school and grades, because especially so, it's like, yeah, what are you going to do? You don't have any complication otherwise when it comes to, I say complication, you don't have any complexion in the realm of, like, majoring in any place.
Yeah.
Granted, it's like, I was about to say, sorry, did you want to say something, Flynn?
It's just a quick line of, you can't get into college with a sports trophy and a broken leg.
Yeah, and granted, I'm seeing a lot of, like, I'm seeing a lot, at least, like, with the friends that I've had that have done sports, a lot of them are actually, like, finding themselves in really good realms of it, because I know, like, for example, 2 of my friends who were on, like, one of them was, like, on football, the other one was on bowling. Yeah, bowling's not as physical, but it's still a sport. One of them was going on to, like, analytics to try to be a coach for the team. The other one was sports medicine, actually. Because, and, like, it lined up to where it's, like, even if they don't, like, yeah, they want to try to be professional, but if it doesn't work out for them, they're still in that sphere of interest. And it's something that interests them, at least. For me, even though it's not necessarily my first pick or so, or rather, like, I didn't exactly envision myself doing it, business fits enough, because one, business is everywhere. Yeah, I'm gonna be international business, but just saying business, right, dude, just to, like, hire a marketing manager for, like, some social media accounts, or, like, some things that, like, you could really use it to, like, promote your thing, or get yourself some street cred online and such. And especially with, like, the rise of, like, COVID and whatever, it really put in the fact of, like, hey, look, dude, some people online, when it comes to, like, managing companies, or, like, company Twitters, or stuff like that or so, it's really, like, hey, dude, what is your official Twitter account doing? Nothing! You know? Like, I feel like there's such a big market that is going unexplored by some people. Like, I'll use, like, one good example of Planet Kuroba, the VTuber. She is actually, she's not just a VTuber, she's the marketing manager and owns the Twitter account to Rogue Esports. Like, as in, Rogue Esports. They're big in the LEC, for instance, which is League of Legends. They have, like, a huge Rocket League team, if I remember exactly, and a bunch of other things as well, especially so. And she's the marketing manager! Or whatever position, okay, I don't want to paraphrase, but yeah, she owns the Twitter account in one spectrum. Granted, many people could own it, but yeah, the fact that she can own it, manage it, and run it, as part of her degree, like, that's, like, one shade of business, and not only are they a popular team, yo, that Twitter account is bumping!
Team KO.
Granted, I may be NA, but also, Like, dude, the EU scene is also kind of huge, kind of big, kind of pumping as well. You know? I'm stuck on a wall. But, like, hopefully, like, my points, especially being made clear, but, like, if I'm gonna compare that to, like, other teams or so, like, granted, we've kind of had our hands full for, like, all of eternity right now playing. But, like, if I could, I'd love to continue to try to manage Guild Force, or how, like, you've struck a deal with, like, some of our friends to, like, help you out with, like, managing and whatever, such like that or so, like, fee, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, especially, like, yeah, like, when it comes to in these spectrums and, like, in such or so, it's like, dude, like, having a manager for these things is huge here. You know, though it doesn't line up necessarily with my major, it still is business. You're not gonna hire someone that doesn't have their foot in the door somehow, you know? Should I sit down or go to sleep? Yeah, go get your sleep, Otomino. Get your sleep, girl, alright? I want you to be well rested. You don't need Mama Proxy getting on to you now about getting good rest. Sorry that I stood up there for 2 seconds. I just wanted to deal with an enemy right there. But yeah, like, especially like going back to that, online presence needs to be put out there, especially so, of just like how important it is in this growing day and age, and for connecting with audiences. Like, I'm thinking on the trend of VTubers once again, of course. But it's like, it's not just us VTubers. It's, you have a whole market at your behest. Yeah, it's like this meme of like COVID disinformation moms on Facebook and whatever, but that is also like, you know, like a corner of the internet that exists and can be like marketed, shaped, and gotten the attention of and whatever. I'm surprised that with how crazy like these people are sometimes. I'm surprised that, like, especially like how D&D was like linked to like the devil and such like that like VTubers haven't been coerced into like being like the single pot hand of like the second spawn of Satan or whatever, you know? True. Satan's using these anime girls as a figurehead to get you to sin. I don't know.
So what I'm hearing is we need an Alex Jones episode about
oh god, dude. If I turned like a podcast by Proxy into an Alex Jones rant about okay, no, you know what I can actually do about that? I can do a whole podcast by Proxy about VTuber drama and all the bullshit that goes on with it. Like, I am 100% serious. I'll do a whole podcast by Proxy to where I'll like put myself in a newsroom and I won't even be playing any games. I'll just sit at my desk and explain about how so much bullshit goes on in the VTubing world, and I'm sick of it. I'm like, I hate having to quote it because it's so true, but the fact that this VTubing community has gone 0 days without some bullshit drama, the fact that it's that the meme rings true. Like, are you serious, guys? How offended can people be when it comes to things like legitimate claims or like model stealing or like emote stealing without permission to things like, oh, you didn't account for the people that are blue skin color in like your free assets post. Like, come on, people! Like, I'm putting things out on a very objective sphere, but I know that I'm speaking with only goodness in my heart, especially so when it comes to this stuff here. Because it is straight bullshit with how some of this stuff transpires, especially so.
You're also committing to the bit and it scares me.
Sweetie, I acted. I've acted before. It's not too hard to commit to a bit. And also I'm an internet personality online.
Not on it, man.
What do you mean?
The fact that you would actually like genuinely go and have a rent stream.
I mean, no, yeah, dude. I always put my money where my mouth is when it comes to owning up to things.
Well, why isn't there money in my mouth then?
Sweetie, first and foremost, what a weird fucking fetish you have. Second off, ew? Third off, I'd put the money in your bank account rather than in your mouth, you weird, degenerate girl.
The joke was about a kiss, but alright. Like,
Yeah, you're really not getting any progress there, are you?
no. And I mean, I'm not even getting any money in my bank account, so.
You got the job, yeah? How are you
I
being
did.
paid? Bi-weekly?
No idea. I'm gonna ring up in the morning.
Yeah, work that out. By the way, I'm Ruby now in Knockout City.
Nani?
I'm Ruby. I am one big tier away from getting back to Diamond.
Hey.
We are getting up there, baby. If all goes well, and if I win streak enough, that's 7 straight wins to Diamond. Granted, I really don't believe I'm going to, but hey, you can be optimistic about it, yeah?
Sweetie, I reckon you can get there this stream because, quite honestly, you don't need to put in, oh yeah, it's time for another Knockout City grind stream. You just do it. It just happens.
I mean, I could, but also it's 11. Remember, I'm trying to reset my sleep schedule.
Well, you've been going for over 2 hours now, like...
Oh yeah, but I'm still here, and also we're still talking about these things school-wise and everything in between. After the fact of, like, V2 ran stream and such like that. Okay, let me get back to that topic of especially with, like, having your major or so. Like, for people that are worried about their school stuff and everything in between, like, I'll use, like, the college athlete example once again. Or, the, like, yeah, high school or college athlete. You don't just want to peak with just, like, your career right there. You need to find a way to transition yourself in, especially so, because... Especially, like, because, like, when it comes to, like, getting your business, just because it's like, oh, you have amazing grades and everything in between, doesn't mean that you are going to be, like, the #1, oh yeah, the first draft pick for when it comes to, like, getting this job or whatever, too. Like, it is just, like, honestly, yeah, you can attribute a good amount of luck to it, and I'm not going to deny that, but it's just as much as you having that degree and, like, whatever specialization or such to your name, as it is knowing the people who can and will give you your job. Because, quite frankly, that is super way important as well. Because knowing which hands that you can shake for your job opportunities is kind of a big deal. Like, a real big one.
I mean, put in here in Britain, honestly, the job market is so skewed that, quite frankly, the grades and the qualifications you get, apart from like having a degree, the qualifications that you get really don't matter. Like,
yeah, it's like
companies...
it's like the main thing, especially so when it comes to it's like they don't just want to they don't just want to hire somebody out of the gate. With just like having to like come up with like these expectations of just like, oh, we need like you don't know a single thing that you're doing. They just want to make sure that like you know like I'll be honest, like, hey, it's like we're hiring you for this business job. Do you just know how to use an Excel spreadsheet? Like, to the gods, please.
Like that's what it is with entry level jobs. Like, yeah, they'll be like, hey, do you have your your GCSE grades, which are like your passing grades that you get when you're 16? It's like, do you have these, and do you have at least, I don't know, a C in English and maths? Like, are you literate? And it's like, yes. Okay, sure. They don't look at anything else, they don't need all 11, like, numbers and scores and whatever.
Wow, there's 11 numbers? I didn't even know that.
And it's like, yeah, so, like, for example, I got into college, which is probably your high school equivalent, and so I, got myself a part-time job in retail. And with it, it was like, yeah, they didn't really care about what qualifications I was doing or what I was doing in the background. And honestly, applying for jobs nowadays, that 3.5 years of experience in the retail is all that matters. When it comes to applying for other jobs, no one gives a damn that I've done A levels. No one gives a damn that I'm in uni. Until I have that degree, once you've got a degree, everyone notices, and it's like, you're applying for shit, and you're like, right, I've got a bachelor's in business, or I've got a master's in physics, or whatever. Like, then people care. But until you got a degree, no one gives a damn. It's all about your experience.
I was about to say, it's like, yeah, going off that retail example or so, like, talking to, like, some of the new hires that we have coming into my job, as I talked to like when they were doing their training. It's like one of them was like fresh out, never had a job before. This is their first time or so. So it's like, okay, that's nice. The other one was like, yeah, I've already worked at like Target or like Home Depot like for like a year or two before. So it's like, okay, it's not about like qualifications. It's just about, okay, how much do we need to like how much do we need to put towards like your training and such for this? Just like for the sake of us, like, hey, getting you like working up to speed with us and whatever, you know? That's literally
like,
just what they're looking
how
for.
How much do we have to keep an eye on you for the first few weeks?
Yeah.
Like,
because it's like, it's really just like as long as like you know like where to start, like the good jobs like will help you like keep your feet on the table with that, and like yeah, keep you well supported with like your training and whatever such like that. But the main thing that they'll still be looking for is just like, yeah, like once again, hey, can you do just this simple task for us in Microsoft Excel? I know it's daunting, I know that you're used to Microsoft Sheets, but we need it in Excel because our computers are 2008 Brits and it doesn't work any other way, and that's just how our company rolls. That's what they're looking for. Because it's like, yeah, it's like, if I'm gonna put it in millennial gamer terms, it's like signing up to be like part of like a 5-on-5 tournament in like FIFA. It's like, yeah, I have shooter experience. This will be a snap. No, you don't. If you just say it's like, hey, look, I played like FIFA 2016. It's like, I'll probably be like, hey, you're into the club, dude. But like, otherwise, what are you doing here? Get out of my show! You don't belong in here. Like hopefully like that made sense, especially like when it comes to like, argumentative sake, because especially so like you need to have you need to have your qualifications for your work, and it's not just like being a stickler about it. It's just like, hey, yeah, can you do your goddamn job with competency? Competency is the key word here, because I can name so many people that like even like for retail, it's like, dude, can you not like just check the person out, cash register, without any problems? And yeah, it's an entry-level job, but it's like, if you can't even do that without like blabbering your mouth off or going on your phone, or at least like trying to say like, have a good day, which is like the very minimum of like what you need to do, it's like, dude, how are you gonna get any other job ever with competency?
like, I don't know how it works in America with like getting jobs. There's the meme of like entry-level job, you know, and it's like it needs 2 years experience.
Oh yeah. Like the memes of it's like a guy. It's like I think my favorite one's like there's a tweet of like it's like technology job, like you need 4 years experience in like this type of code, and the guy was like, dude, I made the code. It hasn't even been 2 years yet.
Yeah. Like,
they're just trying to see how well that they can try to get you into the system, especially so, because the fact is like taking on hires is one, like taking on like a new hire, yeah, that's like one thing on the table. The fact is like, how long are they just going to be a liability? But I mean this as, you know, like, how much are they like, it's like, how much are they dead weight in the sense of the matter is what I'm trying to say here. How much are they just going to only be, yeah, in training before you can actually put them to work doing the same things that the company itself is already doing, you know?
and I think like with the like, especially for like over here when it's like, you know, everything needs experience. Now that I have 3.5 years retail experience, yeah, you can sort of finagle it around in a way that like, so I've done retail, which means I know how customers work. Therefore, I can work in like, you know, food, I guess, like, you know, waiting, or like customer service, like phone call people. I guess you can sort of, I guess, stretch out your dough a little bit, so to speak. But with like, you know, I can't really enter a new area. I can't really go into like admin or, I don't know, production or something. Like, until you either find a really like low-level entry-level job, or especially if you're wanting to enter like a higher up, especially like a, you know, a less like, I guess, working class, labor class bracket. You know, if you're wanting to be like, I don't know,
working class,
the
the proletariat will rise again, brother. I'm joking.
Yeah, but like, so for me, until I, it comes back to the fact that like, until I have my degree, no one's gonna listen. But you have to sort of, it's very difficult to apply for those jobs now, because like, in this day, because you sort of have to pick and choose. Like, oh, I did this module in my second year, and this contained this, and I've got experience with, I don't know, making this group project in stats or whatever, and it's like. Yeah, no one's really gonna listen to you. Like, so it's very hard to get yourself sort of cemented into the career you want to do until you're already like fully qualified for that career. But I don't even know what I want to do. So
And it's like, at the end of the day, especially so, it's like, hey, dude, what are you doing? Are you firing your shot out at the very least? Are you trying to make an effort? It's like, yeah, it's like, I know it's like, there is the eternal meme of like, I don't have the experience for the job because I can't get the darn job. Yeah, but you still need to start somewhere, yeah?
And that's the problem with my system. My system's been unemployed for ages. Like, just get a goddamn job. Stop trying to go for one in your field. Like, you need the money. Just get a job. And it's like, yeah, just be picky.
Dihydrogen moments? Oh, okay, so this is just a side story that I remember from, like, seeing back in middle school, but I remember seeing, like, an amazing, like, science project from a kid that was, like, he secretly wanted to test, like, the gullibility, or, like, the reliability, like, how, if people would buy into things, just because it had, like, supposed scientific evidence or such like that or so he made
is this the whole, like, water is a poison thing?
Yeah, so, famously so, this kid made a science project based around the fact of how dihydrogen monoxide was poisonous to you, and how, like, it should be outlawed or so, I remember. And he got, like, everybody fooled at the school until it was revealed that that wasn't actually, like, the real science project. The fact that, like, he was able to, like, disinform them in this sense was just kind of like, yo, dude, this is whack.
I mean, there's the famous, like, I think it's almost like a green text, like, about it, online. Like, it's a really, like, low quality website, but it's existed since like 2000, so chances are it probably that. But like, yeah, no, the meme's always been there. But
I mean, I know that one, and it's like, at least like for you playing. Like, because, like, I know it's like, it's a big thing that, like, the American troops have pulled out of Afghanistan, but this was, like, a 2012 article I remember seeing about. There was also, like, along the same lines of, like, there's a reporter that was asking around people, like, at the Capitol, like, back, like, when Afghanistan was, like, I guess at first, like, was, like, still contentious, and granted, it still is contentious topic, but people were like, do you support the U.S. bombings of Alibaba? And it was like, no, not Alibaba, Adraba.
Yeah.
And it was like a really big talking point, because especially so, when it came to, it's like 83% people expressed their positive reaction in, like, the continued bombing of Adraba. And it's like, dude, that's literally Aladdin. That's...
Yeah, do your damn research. Like...
Like, jeez, dude. It is just... That's another tangent of just, like, misinformation and everything of that realm, too. But also, I just find that stuff hilarious. Cause it's like, dude, like, welcome to the Ponzi scheme that you've just bought yourself in. Congratulations. You're a fool. You're a real big fool. Alright, well, that was a bad rest, OT to begin with. But, what were the other things we were going to talk about? Because we kind of, like, deviated away from the podcast stuff, but I still do have, like, one or two more school stories if we still wanted to talk about that.
OTs, really? It's your stream.
Well, I'm saying, sorry, did you have anything that you wanted to hear too, since you are my co-host still on this side of things, especially so?
Nope, I'm good.
Alright. Well, anyway. Finishing off the segments of, like, when it can come to, especially so, with school stories and everything in between. One thing that I would definitely like to especially say, kind of like, gets, I don't know, like, my honorary vote, in a way, especially so, comes to... excuse me. Comes to, like, once again, going back to that house system, they didn't actually get to fully explain things of, like, the winner at the end of the year got a full school mandated day off, and depending on like what year that you had won and whatever, you had like there's range of different benefits and whatever. I remember that like the junior year, they got to go to what's his face? They got to go to the a baseball game of like our local sports team and whatever. Not like the college team, but like the actual sports team of the city and whatever. You got to chill out all day there and whatever. My house, I remember, I have real good memories about this because, funnily so, the main problem with things was when I came into my high school, the house that I was sorted into was unequivocally last place all the darn time. They were 10th, 9th place in my years of schooling. From freshman, sophomore, junior year, and such. And so, especially so, when we put it to a fold, the comeback that we had in our senior year was huge because our freshman class was actually really involved. And what we got to do was we got to go to a paintball park in our area. And then, the arcade, Dave & Buster's, just recently had opened up in our area too. So because of that, yeah, I just got to chill out, having a nice arcade day, getting to play paintball with my boys, and like also being the teachers too, because they played with us for our classes. And it was just like an amazing day, quite frankly, all things considered.
Right.
I was gonna just say, we just had one of the stupidest comebacks from like 0 and 7 to a 10 to 9? Like, we don't deserve that. We're just nice.
You still haven't lost any of these, baby.
No, I've lost like 3 games. 3, 4, 5, actually. Just so. I've had pretty... I was kind of like winning, losing before you came in here.
I'm just your good luck charm, sweetie.
Yeah, whatever you say. Whatever you say. Yeah, I don't like that glider at all. Alright, I'm just gonna use the restroom because I've been drinking a lot again.
Yeah,
I'll be right back.
pretty healthy.
Never mind, I just joined the match in progress. I guess I'll go next. Next time.
You need to start drinking.
I'm saving that for Friday's orange juice stream, sweetie.
What, not drinking?
No, I thought you said you should start drinking. I thought you said you should start.
I said you should stop drinking, as in, like, stop hydrating. Hydrate redeems. Otherwise, it's not special.
No, because it's good hydration that I am putting into my system. Why would I not hydrate myself?
I'm kidding, baby.
Sweetie, there's sarcasm on the internet, but there's also just not taking care of yourself like an absolute mon. Yeah, I said it.
Oh. I thought Mong was the British term.
No, it is. I'm just picking it up from Mr. British himself, Gavin Free.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Funny story actually. There's only one, like, the main person I know that uses the word Mong is my dad, and there is only one person that he actually calls Mong. Like, it's a specific name that he gives to one specific kid who used to be our next door neighbor before they moved out.
Yeah.
And you know, my dad would just call him the Mong.
The Mong? Oh, what a nickname! Alright, Fat, I'll take the hydrate. Thanks for the hydrate, dude. Like, actually, though. So, well, with the podcast streams, I'm talking so darn much anyway. Oh, that's hilariously sad. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. Okay, so what just happened on stream? I don't know if you're watching, sweetie. We were like cornering a guy. He was 1v3 by himself, and he was like, "I got this." As he goes to pick up a bomb ball, and the fuse exploded on him as soon as he picked it up. Like, we were all backing away, and he was like, "I guess this ball is free for the picking for me." And then he just fucking blew up, and he died.
Gold team is catching on.
Ah, jeez, that was good. That was good. Ah, darn it. That was also good. I should have just jumped up, actually, for that hit. That should be a clip. I'll need to remember that one for later. That was just like, we always thought the diffuser was about to blow up, except for him. He was like, "Alright, this is my play then, boys." And then he died. A horrible and tragic death. There you go, teammates. Good stuff right there, boys. But, yeah, like, that's like my favorite thing, because it's like, Lad works at a Dave & Buster's, for instance. It was, like, and, like, the one in our area was, like, the first one, like, in our city entirely, so. There was no others. And literally, it just opened up, like, the week before as well. So we got, like, first dibs on it, basically, in the city. Just a good clip, but I'm on mobile. Oh, yeah, mobile clipping sucks, dude. I understand that pain, very much so.
It's all tied up. 30 seconds.
Ah, shoot. Tried passing to my teammate and I blew him up by accident. Alright, hold on. I'm just gonna be quiet for 2 seconds because I want to make sure that we win this. It's 8-8 right now. Ha! Get hit, nerd. Oh, we can just back up. Yeah, I was gonna say, we're about to win by time, actually. There we go. Alright, 10-8. But, yeah. The house system was an amazing thing that I loved, and I was honestly surprised, like, when I had first heard about it, because I was like, how has nobody else ever done this before yet, you know? Because at the very least, like, there's, like, a sense of camaraderie that you could have, like, actually just kind of like, hey, even if, like, we were in the last place, it's like, if I'm going to stick to strangers, I'm going to stick to strangers in my house, you know?
Yeah.
It's just quite simply how it worked. Yeah, birds of a feather and all that. You just stuck to the people that were in the same house as you and everything in between. It was just really cool getting to not only engage in that, but yeah, be an active part of that and get to see how it evolved. Because once again, it was the 3rd through 6th years of the house system that I got to experience and go through, especially so. And it was something else, just getting to see how that stuff went. And yeah, getting to even so win on my senior year out of all years to win finally, even though we were unequivocally the 10th place team, you know?
Yeah.
And also made me think as well, yeah, we got it based off of Harry Potter, but only ever seen it in the movies and reading like half of one of the books. I was like, how the heck do they, like, how the heck is the house system fair? Because you could really just be like, yeah, I'll just give 10 points to Gryffindor. Why? Because I can. Like, eh.
Like, so how it actually works in, at least in the Harry Potter universe, it's a British thing, I know a lot about it. Like...
Just educate me then, because it kind of just felt like arbitrary, just kind of like, yeah... like, you didn't trust the teachers of, like, a wizard school with, like, literally defense against the dark arts positions to at least, like, have their morals up and, like, integrity to not only not misuse spells, but also, like, the integrity of, like, this house system that they had. But also, like, yeah, once again, it was just kind of like, if you watch the movies, you did something good. 10 points to Gryffindor. Like, I'm making a meme of it, but hopefully my exaggerations, you understand my line of thinking.
They only really showed it in the first, like, film or two, because that's all I really cared about.
Well, yeah, but like, that's exactly my point. That's all I can base my conjecture off of, you know?
So, I mean, what it was is that, like, the senior, so, you know, each each house had, you know, their sort of, I guess, their own senior teacher. You know, McGonagall for Gryffindor, Snape was Slytherins, etc., etc.
I'm a Ravenclaw. Thank you, Pottermore.com.
Yeah. I'm also a Ravenclaw. Thank you for being we're clever boys.
Nerd.
You know, I haven't taken the test in years. Like, I'm probably a Hufflepuff because, you know, it's the gayest one. But,
The
like,
gayest one? More like the one with like no members.
yeah, like, until Fantastic Beasts, no one gave a damn about Hufflepuff because like, everyone's like, Newt's a Hufflepuff, whoa, Newt's a Hufflepuff. So people actually started giving a damn. Like, we used to sell Harry Potter merch on, this is just a tangent, we used to sell Harry Potter merch in my retail store, and it was like, so you'd have makeup bags that'd come in, and there was all 4 houses, and like, Ravenclaw would sell it instantly, because everyone loves Ravenclaw. And it's
Yeah,
like,
they're cool.
like, yeah, Ravenclaw would sell it instantly, and then like, you'd have Slytherin and Gryffindor to sort of go down equally, like...
It's because it's like, it's either like, oh, you're just that because it's the main characters, or you're a slimy rat bastard.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm a Slytherin because I'm edgy, and it's like,
Or you're a slimy rat bastard.
and then, or you're a slimy rat bastard. But then you had the, you know, all of the horrible black and yellow stripy Hufflepuff bags were left because no one gives a shit about that fucking badger. Anyway, yeah.
They
so
should
you
have
to be a
had
senior
more
teacher,
representation if they wanted people to cheer. I'm sorry, Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling. I'm actually not, but that's their own fault.
I'm not sorry. Never apologize about J.K. Rowling. She is a bitch.
No, I know. Anyway, continue to tweet the chat. I'll be using the restroom.
Alright, Shatterino. So, effectively, how it worked is the senior teachers could give out the points. So, you know, in the first film, you would see McGonagall giving out Gryffindor points, or Snape trying to take them away, or, you know, Professor Sprout giving them out in class. Like, you never actually got any other teachers doing it, because they weren't allowed. They could put in requests through good old Dumbledore himself, and obviously Dumbledore was in charge of the, you know, final say, what yada yada yada. And then, of course, it got all a bit serious, and no one gave a shit about what points got what, because Harry Potter was existing, and he'd spent most of his time out of school or being dead.
Or in a cupboard closet. Also, I come back and I hear Harry Potter. I'm being nitpicky, I love you, sweetie, but Harry Potter.
It is Harry Potter.
No, I know, it's the
Well, okay. I mean, if you want to go like full, like, you know, in the movies, it takes place in like London, so it's just like Harry Potter.
It's not. It's Harry Potter?
I can't believe my eyes. It's Harry Potter.
It's Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But like,
I do love the Harry Potter franchise. Like I give it shit sometimes, but like every like couple of years ago, I go and rewatch it. I mean, it's actually British tradition because when near Christmas time on ITV, they show all the Harry Potter films.
There you
like,
go.
Every night for a week, they show all the Harry Potter films, and so it's like almost like Christmas New Year's tradition to. Yeah, it's Christmas tradition to watch Harry Potter, and then it's New Year's tradition to watch Chicken Run because
Chicken Run's good stuff. I love that.
Chicken Run will always go on
It's
telly
so
on New
underrated
Year's,
for like
yeah.
American standards and whatever too. Like, I
Oh
never
my
hear
God.
anybody ever talking about Chicken Run from like an American perspective.
No, because it's the most British film ever. If you go to Britain, everyone talks about Chicken Run because it's amazing. It includes, well, you know why it's not very popular in America, darling? Because he's a Yank. It literally is a film that spends half the time slandering the Americans, and it's fucking great. And it's where I get all of my insults for you lot, you know. I don't like the look of this one. His eyes are too close together.
Watch Harry Potter 1, 2, 3, and Mom. Rather love Harry Potter. It's like, here's the thing. I remember it's like when I don't remember where it is, like Universal Studios or like whatever, like with like the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, you know. my sister was like the one that like actually had all the books and whatever. I had only seen the movies, but darn if you don't get super involved into it after like going to the wizarding world. Making the wand, I actually didn't get a chance to. The line was way too long for making the wand, so I had to unfortunately miss out on that. But I got to ride on like, you know, like the big coaster and everything in between. I got like we got ourselves our own white snowy barn owl, like Hedwig, that makes noises and turns its head.
Like the Wizarding World in like Orlando Resorts or whatever, or like Universal Studios. Yeah, they're like the big sort of theme park ones. The one I went to when I was back in school, we went. It was actually on a school trip that we went. Is the one that we have in London is the making of, which is where they have actually like all of the like, the original props and all of the stuff that they use for like, like the chocolate feasts in Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
The Yule Ball, or like, they have the Dobby animatronic in a glass case, and it's like, yeah. So we had the making of, and then it was like, yeah, you could buy your own stuff. What they did have is they had a butterbeer.
Oh, dude, butterbeer's actually OD.
I honestly, the foam was honestly the best part, like, of the butterbeer.
We still have the mugs. We got 2 mugs in my house of butterbeer.
I didn't get a mug. I did get a small like plastic beaker, I guess.
A beaker?
Like plastic kids cup.
Okay, well, you say plastic kids cup, it's like, if I hear beaker, I think like sciencey.
Yeah, no, it's what we call cup. I don't know what you call, like, because, they reached a point where the kids stopped using a plastic cup and started using a glass instead, like a normal adult. Like,
I don't know what to tell you, Sadie.
we call it a cup.
Yeah, that's literally so. It's like, unless you're like a college frat kid, or like, yeah, having a home party, you just use like a solo cup. But a beaker? It's like, I'm like, if I hear the word beaker, I'm thinking like tall, like the tin, tin. Wow, fuck me. Thin, tall cylinder.
We objectify them for kids is the thing, because if you say cup to a British person, they immediately think of mug, cup of tea. Sorry, cup of tea. Or like cup of coffee.
Yeah.
We never say cup of Joe because we're not degenerates. Like.
I mean, I don't drink any cups of Joe.
Who's Joe and why are we drinking?
Joe Mama!
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, destroyed, nerd! Ah, fuck me. I died in the game for that, and that's worth it. Hey, let's clip that.
No.
Oh, according to Tikaku. Translators know Tikaku means plan. You just actually got completely beamed on, Flying. How does it feel?
Indeed. It feels horrible.
Oh my goodness, auto aim. Okay, you know what? That makes up for it. Thank you, auto aim.
Do you know what's less horrible, sweetie?
What up?
Losing the game.
I mean, well, we're still up around. We're just down 1 kill in this game. And quite frankly, I don't see you playing Knockout City, but you have a totally logical and viable reason as to why you're not. So I'm overanalyzing it. Let's get back to the wonderful Wizarding World of Harry Potter. When Pottermore first came out, I remember that was a huge thing because, at least like for me, like I remember like my sister wore it as like her badge of honor. Of like being able to check off that, like, yeah, I read all the books and seen all the movies, and I felt like I was a plebeian. So like, yeah, I can only check off that I watched the movies.
I've seen Gran. I can tell that Gran's a Harry Potter kid. There is like, she's the perfect, like, she's actually the perfect market for Harry Potter.
She was Gryffindor, I think.
Oh, of course she was. Of course.
You say that like it's slander against the Gryffindorites.
Oh, what? I don't say it like it's slander. I say it because like it's perfect for Gran. She is totally Gryffindor.
There we go, another match win.
I should be in your Knockout City streams more.
I mean, I was already climbing before you came in here.
Yeah, but you were admitting that you'd lost some games, and then you haven't lost one since I've been.
Fine. I was already going for an hour and 40 before you came in. How long have I been going ever since you came in? An hour.
Let me feel good about myself, okay?
I'm just saying, causation is not
often
correlation.
that happens.
If we're talking about sciencey stuff, you should know that causation is not correlation, sweetie. I'm just putting it out there on a silver platter. Anyway, back to the wonderful wizarding world of Harry Potter. back to that wonderful wizarding world of Harry Potter and everything in between. The main thing that I did want to especially go on is like, yeah, like the theme parks, they did a wonderful job of like, it's like, you know, like, it sounds cliche, but like making you feel like a kid again, of like really making you be like, wow, dude, I could go and watch like this thing or so. Like I remember it's like looking at the map, it's like, yeah, you can go on like the big ride. Like there's like the big like 4D ride to where you actually rode along, and there's like animatronics and like special effects and whatever all the time there. Or you could go like on this like traditional roller coaster called like the Twin Dragons and such, based off the movies. You can go to the cafe, get yourself a butterbeer from a stand. Or of course there's like, you know, like making your own wand experience, you know, the personalized experience, which the line was like 3 hours long, so we didn't do.
Yeah, like for us in the making of, you had, like, at least when I went, I don't know how it is nowadays. Rather than having a one gift shop at the end, you had Diagon Alley, and
yes,
the various bits of merch were in the various different stores. You know, you want a replica wand, you go into Ollivander's, you buy yourself a replica wand. I personally got myself a Snape's wand. It was in the box for ages. I recently just gave it to my housemate because she's been on a Harry Potter kick and I don't need it.
You
but
want
like,
oh, sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was gonna explain, like, you want an owl plushie, you go into, you know, the owl store. I can't remember who runs it in the Harry Potter universe, but that's where you'd go. Like, it was so fucking cool. And obviously they had like the speakers playing, like, you know, the Harry Potter music, and you got the full experience, and you just felt like you were in the world, like the Wizarding World.
Yeah. It's like, that's the thing that like I feel like are great about theme parks, especially so, of like making you feel more invested in the world itself. Like, there's a reason why Disney, especially, has like the biggest monopoly on like actually like I say this to like with like the quotation marks on it, unforgettable experiences, but actually living up to that name. You wanna know a clip that I just saw on Reddit the other day?
Oh?
Somebody had challenged a Gaston actor, you know, from Beauty and the Beast, to a push-up competition, because he was like, you know, like, I'll show this actor who's who. I'll send this clip to you later, Flynn. But the Gaston actor was like, oh really? Let's see here. Like, they start off and the Gaston is actually pumping it. And like, it gets to a point where like 10 seconds later, he's like, oh come on! You said you want to challenge me? Why don't we give him a hand? And he starts doing it one-handed and like pumping it like actually non-stop, rapidly so.
Well, you know, no
one fights like Gaston.
Gaston, no.
Okay, I've told you my smash for this story of Gaston, right?
You have?
Like, you say that like, or, no, you say that like you have like, what do you mean by that? Your intonation, I can't tell if that's a you have like I have before, or you have like
no,
you've told it.
You have before, like Gastoning.
Okay,
like,
well. Okay, so I'll tell that for another stream or so. But the main thing that I wanted to go on about, especially, is like, yeah, I remember that, or like I remember it's like there's like a Cinderella clip of like, yeah, Cinderella actor who knew sign language for a girl that was visiting her or so. There's like, of course, like the ones at like, and like, yeah, just like any other example, like that's the thing that I remember all the time, especially so of just how, especially when it comes to. You never, like, things especially so, you never hear anything bad about these writers, god damn it, I don't know why I said writers, I was thinking Harry Potter, I was thinking writer, about what's his face, about these actors. They are their own ray of sunshine with their, and the fact that they have to go through so much training and etiquette to where they go and everything in between. It is, like, it's huge as to how much it takes for them and such, you know?
You resurfaced a memory. So, I have the most wholesome story for you. 3-year-old Flanny, right? 3-year-old Flang was at Disneyland Paris with their parents.
Yeah.
And I'm talking in the third person. It was me. Like, so I was at Disneyland Paris, and now bear in mind, Disneyland Paris is my earliest set of memories. Like, I don't remember anything before this. Like, when I was 3, like Disneyland Paris is on God's the earliest I can ever remember. Now we were going through, and at one point I tripped and I bumped my head. Like, so for a while, like, you know, I was in pain. I was crying. You know, I'm a kid.
Yeah.
My instinct to cry. And like, so I remember like trying to not have my day be ruined. Like, I remember like one memory I have is standing next to a statue of Flick from A Bug's Life, getting my photo taken.
Yeah.
And trying desperately to not look like I was crying. I didn't know who Flick was. I'd never seen A Bug's Life, but it was a big statue. I was gonna get myself a picture taken. But then we got to the Winnie the Pooh bit, and there was, you know, the actors in costume. And honest, like. The main thing is that Eeyore, whose main stick is being sad and depressed and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, Eeyore, being a, you know, sad crying donkey, saw me crying and came over to me. And he basically just bent down and Eeyore just cuddled me and like pretended to cry alongside me until I felt better. And then like as soon as I stopped crying, he like sort of pushed me gently in the direction of Tigger, who's, you know, actual like
Yeah,
massive
sunshine
energy.
incarnate.
Yeah, like fun incarnate, like whose massive energy just, you know, it made me laugh, it made me smile, and it just made me better for the rest of the day. Like these guys just know how to make a kid's day, even when they, you know, even when they're down.
Yeah.
You can just pull them back up again.
I've got a pretty funny story from Mama Proxy from like her childhood.
what?
Like when she was I think like when she was at like her own like Disney World or so back in the Philippines or so. I can't remember the exact story. She'd probably do a lot better if she told it herself. But TLDR on it, she wanted to. Oh, what's his face? What's the? I'm sorry.
Mama Proxy stream win.
Probably never. She doesn't know that I VTube. She knows that I stream, but she doesn't know how I stream. Mom and Dad don't know that I'm VTubing. They just know that I'm streaming. But we'll see. What is the dog's name? Pluto. There we go. Pluto. You know, like Mickey Mouse, Minnie, like Donald, Goofy, whatever. She loved Pluto, but as like little old kids, she didn't remember his name exactly. So I remember it's like when she was like sitting at the teacups, she had always told the story. She was crying out Pluty, like Pluty, come here, Pluty, and she was getting really sad because they didn't know who she was trying to refer to. So it was like she was sad for a little moment, but then she ordered just like a buffet of like they came one by one trying to see who she wanted, and so it was a really nice story. But the fact is like how quickly it was like you know, like they kind of like sussed out of like, hey, like she's trying to find somebody but she doesn't know who she like who it is, that they're able to like work together on that spectrum and find that out. It's like, yeah, it's magical for a kid, especially so on their own side of things, especially so. And when you put it to that wider lens, especially so. So you made this kid's day for just letting them greet you, for crying out loud. And it's one of the Disney actors are a whole nother breed of them, are a whole nother breed of species, dude. Like the patience and the understanding. Like maybe I'm just being a little archaic in how I'm thinking, but actual human compassion and empathy.
Yeah, no, unironically, like the Disney actors, like the people, the mascots or whatever, they are trying to give these kids a magical day, and it fucking works.
Yeah, like I think I remember like the biggest thing is like you cannot break character under any circumstance or whatever. It's like I think it's like one of the big things. Like Disney is really well kept about the secrets. I've seen many threads about like like Disney actors, and like the biggest thing is like you're trying to pinpoint like how what's like if there's anything wrong going on with like the situation or so. or like, and like, of course, like, don't break character, because to them, you're not an actor. You are the person themselves in their midst, you know?
The hardest jobs is when you've got like, yeah, you've got like costume actors, people like, you know, Eeyore, Stitch, whatever. But then, you know, Pluto, Mickey. But then you've got the people who are actually like the Disney princesses. You know,
Yeah.
They are models in, you know, in dresses and costume, and they have to physically and, you know, actively behave. You know, they have to, you know, they put on the smile and wave for kids. They've got a harder job. I mean, if I was to... here's a fun topic. If you were going to be a Disney character, as a Disney actor, who would you be?
Oh, you're really gonna put me on this?
We're going to BuzzFeed this shit. Let's bet. Like,
Oh.
I mean, my
You know,
instinct is to say
honestly-
Kylo Ren, because honestly, I've already got
I was about to say,
the Kylo
if I could be
costume.
Disney, if we could include Star Wars in that, yeah, like, hand me
Yeah, well,
any
yeah.
Star Wars role.
Nowadays, honey, like Marvel and Star Wars are
Yeah.
both in Disney parks.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't considering that. I was thinking it's like, you know, a traditional Disney park and all that such, immediately so.
Well,
Especially when
we
it came
can
to,
go-
but like, if...
okay, you can go a raw Disney and a spin-off. Like,
Okay. So if I'm doing raw Disney, honestly, give me like Captain Hook or Peter Pan, even though my skin tone is not it. But because I feel like you can rib on like your same cast and co-mates from that series, especially so the best, you know. I feel like, especially if like when it comes to like setting up like fight scenes or stuff like that, or just like acting scenarios out, you have a lot of material to work off of, and it just seems like really good. Like you could really find yourself with easy chemistry with like Peter Pan, Captain Hook, or like the other kids of Neverland, you know?
oh, I've remembered who my raw Disney characters now. I actually, so for a charity event at my old job, for what we have every year, is called Children in Need over in the UK. And for that, I went to work full in costume as Captain Jack Sparrow.
Let's go! My dad was
I-
rewatching the first Pirates just the other day.
Yeah, well, he's on the same as me because my Pirates rewatch. I've got to watch Stranger Tides next. The final Pirates film is honestly like Pirates 5 is honestly my favorite Pirates film. It's so good. It's so standalone, and I love Salah.
I was about to say,
Like-
it really sucks that oh, I don't know, fact is, I remember I'd seen news about how it's like Johnny Depp's is not getting like any more casting calls or whatever because of like their
Yeah.
heard stuff. And I remember like people already joking. I was like, well, guys, can it? Pirates 7 is never gonna happen.
Like the thing with Pirate, like I think that the main what I'm hearing is that Pirate 6 is gonna be Margot Robbie, you know, Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Like is going to be the main focus of Pirates. I have no idea how it's going to work, and everyone's like, "Oh, give Johnny Depp a cameo at least."
I was about to say, like, here's the thing. Like, with how much Pirates stuff there is, and I still definitely think that it's one of the most underrated series of all time.
Oh, hell yeah.
Especially so, it's like, dude, you have so much that you could spin off with here, you know?
But,
you don't it's been the Captain Jack Sparrow show, and then if you want to go on to it, then yeah, when you look into things like, of course, like Davy Jones, and then like going on to that, like how do we get to Davy Jones? Bootstrap Bill, and then et cetera, onwards, you know? But you have so much more of a universe that you can explore. I remember like when the whole Davy Jones thing came around, it was Davy Jones and then the Pirate Lords, and that was all that anybody ever talked about, you know? Who are the Pirate Lords?
Yeah, like honestly, like World's End is actually like a really good film. It's far better than Dead Man's Chest, in my opinion. Like, just
Hey, yo, where are my
all the
Will Turner stands at?
Like, oh my god, Will Turner stands. Like, where's my Capitan Chaval? Where's my French pirate stand? No, oh my god. So no, yeah, I was dressed up as Captain Jack. Now imagine fully costumed, fully makeup, Captain Jack, right, strutting down in the middle of the mall, like with the walk.
Yes,
you know?
like I was about to say, yeah. the sea. Yeah, I was about to say like it's that the Captain Jack Sparrow watch. That's totally just like the adjusted for the sea watch. I don't remember the exact name for it. Sea legs. That's what I'm trying to look
Sea
for.
legs. No, yeah, like he doesn't stumble on when he's on a ship. If you pay attention to the movies, he doesn't stumble on the ship. He only does it when he's on land. Anyway, yeah. So I was walking around. Obviously, I get to work, and initially I'm on tills, and I'm just like, I'm not getting the best out of my abilities here. Can I go on the floor?
Yeah.
And so, you know, you had Captain Jack Sparrow folding kids' pajamas, you know. So, obviously, you know, I had kids coming up and parents like, oh, can we get pictures? And I was like, you know, usually I'd be like, what, a picture of the kid? What? But this time it was just like, go for it. And, you know, I had like a wooden sword, so I could like pull it out and threaten a kid. So yeah, I was Captain Jack Sparrow.
Nice. Sorry, if I would say, oh, okay, sorry, finish your story.
I was just gonna say, like, it was on the point of one other like cosplay idea that I wanted to do. So like I had very minor experience making like fursuit props. Like I made a pretty well
Fursuit props.
Well, like I made an actual decent tail, like furred and everything, with like movement and stuff. And I thought, if I applied this movement in a smaller form, I could make really good tentacles for a Davy Jones costume.
Oh, jeez, dude.
Because I love voicing Davy Jones. Like, I'll give you a voice thing later. Anyway, what were you wanting to say?
I was about to say, it's like, if we're going back to, like, okay, anybody from, like, I guess, like, yeah, you could say it's, like, newer Disney property. I say newer, because, like, you know, it's not, like, classic Cinderella or whatever, it's, like, Marvel and such. I already cosplayed Doctor Strange. I'd love to be the master of the mystic art himself, you know? Master of the mystic art, I say that, like, there's one. Master of the mystic arts, you know? I'd love to embody that. So, yeah, going on to, like, your story of, like, being in costume, the best thing was when I went to watch Endgame. My friends and I had already come around. We already had a whole Marvel group. So I went to watch Endgame with my Doctor Strange cosplay. I was the only person in my group that was cosplaying, so it was just me. But I had the Eye of Agamotto 3D printed. I had a 3D printed sewing ring on me as well. And I had the flowing cape. The cape itself, like, had the patterning on. No, it didn't. It had a white patterning on it, along with the like little like gold kind of like things at the very end.
Yeah.
And I basically had everything for a perfect, not comics edition, of course, MCU edition Doctor Strange. And my favorite thing was to like going around and people were asking, it's like, hey Strange, how's the movie gonna end? And my response was just always like, I can't tell you the possibilities. I've seen them all, but I can't tell you, or it'll change. It was great.
Like, I hope you did that before the movie, and then of course he actually says it in the movie. Like, if I tell you, it won't.
No, this was Endgame. Like, this wasn't Infinity War.
Yeah, I know. But
yeah.
In Endgame.
But yeah, no, it was literally like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme, like he's pointing at the TV. That's literally what I did when he just held the finger up to Tony and was like, "This is the one, dude." I literally just went like silently to myself, like, "Hey, that's me." Because you can't scream in the movie
when
theater.
I went to see Endgame, sweetie, would you like to know what cosplay there was there? Because there was a few. There wasn't many, but there was a few. Once again, I saw it in the same mall that I worked at. But up just you could hear just this heavy you could hear like heavy footsteps, and everyone was like, what the fuck is that? And then like the lift door opens and there's honest to god like a 7-foot like Hulkbuster armor.
Oh, that's amazing.
Strutting out the lift. Like, and it's just like, oh my Christ. Like, there's just this guy had clearly gone. You know when you see people in like Warhammer 40k like cosplay and they're like fucking enormous, and it's like, yeah, it was that except Hulkbuster, and it was like, this guy is like professional.
That's amazing stuff to hear.
But like we just sort of watched him get his ticket, and he just sort of marched up, like, cause like, yeah, there was the line.
Excuse
And
me,
then-
ma'am. She asked for no pickles.
Well, he came up and like, cause he had a voice modulator, so like he just sort of came up, slammed a fiver on the desk, and just went, popcorn, large. like,
Oh, that's freaking fantastic, dude.
you know, the cinema worker was like smiling away, but also was just like, you could see in their hands they were like slightly terrified that they were gonna get like slapped through the face.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, oh man, it was so good. Endgame was like, Endgame honestly brought everyone together. With, you know, with everything like Thanos demands your silence, and everything going on, like, and, you know, the Reddit snapping, which I got snapped.
I didn't get to participate in that because I didn't actually have a Reddit account at that time. I just worked, so I didn't get to see if I was snapped or spared. I just didn't have an account back then.
I got snapped, but my sister got spared.
Oh, so you have to go into the Soul Stone, my boy.
I went to go into the Soulstone, which is just a shit posting.
No, well, okay, like, for those of you that don't know, yeah, the Reddit, you know, one of the premier, like, social media sites online, especially so, had a whole thing with Endgame 2 to where, yeah, you could, like, to where half the accounts got a little badge that was called Snapped or Spared. Those who got snapped could not participate in, like, the main Discord anymore. Like, they were actually just, just soft ban, like, the Discord role.
It was the Discord subreddit simply called Thanos did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And you basically you put your interest in, and you were like, right, others upvote this post, and you know, when Judgment Day comes, you will either be snapped or spared.
Yeah.
And so one day, you know, you click onto the server, and you've been banned. You can't see any posts. And then, you know, you are given an invite to in the Soulstone. And it wasn't until later when Reddit was like, you know, it was all over the news, and it was like, this is a huge event, and Reddit was like, you know, we're gonna give out badges, and they basically gave out snapped badges to anyone.
Yeah,
who was
and
banned from
because
the
I had just worked, I didn't get a chance to get a badge.
Oh, sweetie.
Because I was just only using it for memes, and quite frankly, I still do. But now I have an account so I can favorite my memes or save them for when I need to show my friends. But yeah, it was a big thing. It was hilarious. But like, I feel like, yeah, Avengers films are like the only films that you ever hear that like people like outwardly cheer, or like say, or gasp, or like sigh, or or cry, and there's no problem with it. Because it's like, especially like, yeah, the Endgame and like Infinity War and Endgame, you don't see like the audience reactions clips or whatever on YouTube have like the big one's like what 14 million views if I remember.
Like in I don't know about, I know in America cinema etiquette is very, very different. But in Britain you are shunned if you speak, or you know, if you you know, especially if you like get your phone out. But in Endgame, you know, you had people cheering, like, for example, when, you know, everyone was coming out of the polls, or, you know,
oh my god,
the reaction to Iron Man.
I need you to shut up for 2 seconds.
What's happened? Oh, you're Diamond. Oh, hello. Are you laughing at being Diamond, or are you laughing at me? I can't tell.
I connected to a game, and I was 2 points away from hitting Diamond. If I'd won, I would have been in Diamond. But then I load into the game, and it just says, opponents forfeited. Here's your Diamond.
Ah. Well, diamond grind done, no effort wasted. I think we'll leave it there, darling.
Oh, finish your Avengers story, and then we'll call the stream.
It's basically done, baby.
Joe Bad, British British theaters would shun
Yeah,
you.
we're just saying like Endgame was the only like cinema experience I've ever had where people actually were like, crying or whatever. Like the audible gasp, but like Iron Man's, well, what happened to Iron Man at the end. Spoiler alert.
It's been what, like 3-4 years. I'm pretty sure if people are gonna be spoiled,
Minutes.
they're gonna be spoiled.
Yeah, it's been 2 years since Endgame. Here's my DVD. It's the only DVD in my collection that isn't packed. This isn't even DVD. This is a Yu-Gi-Oh! PC game. I did pack Endgame away. Oh well. Like, I had to get it back on my dev. Anyway, yes, that'll be us.
Okay, well, I guess we'll just call it then and there then, everybody. I hope we're all doing well enough. This has been a wonderful podcast by Proxy today. It's been your wonderful windmaids, a cruise ship captain, Chartreuse Proxy, ever at your service. We're going to give the love out to... let's give it to Saki today. Thank you everybody once again for giving out the love. I didn't expect to reach Diamond today, but you know what? We got to it, even though it was one of the stupidest ways I could have gotten Diamond. Thank you, Knockout City. Thank you for joining me and flying today. If you'd like to say your last words before you go off stream, now flying.
That'll be it from us and from me. Go in peace. May the Spider Queen bless your days.
And once again, we'll be reading on Otohime Saki. She is playing Valorant right now, with a few other friends, it seems, right now. So we'll give the love out to her. And let us have ourselves a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, and night now, everybody. Thank you for coming on.